Congratulations, you're pregnant. The doctor's excited voice echoed through the VIP consultation room as I stared at the tiny black dot on the ultrasound scan, my heart pounding like a drum. After 3 years of marriage, we're finally having a baby. With trembling hands, I dialed my husband Sean Morchan's number. Morchan, I have great news to share. Hold on. His gentle voice came through the receiver, though not directed at me. Suan, don't cry, I'm coming to get you right now. My heart instantly sank. Suan, his first love, the one who got away, the woman who just returned from abroad yesterday. What is it? Sean Morchan's voice turned aloof. I stared at the test report in my hand, suddenly unable to speak. Never mind, you're busy. After hanging up, I sat on the hospital bench, watching the bustling crowd, and tears uncontrollably streamed down. 3 years ago, Lin Yuyan, used all of the Lin family's resources to save the Sean family's failing business and even married Sean Morchan. Back then, he was completely devoted to me, constantly vowing never to forget my kindness and promising to treat me well for the rest of his life. Yuyan, a familiar voice called out. I looked up and saw my good friend Ji Anran. What are you doing at the hospital? You look so pale, she asked with concern. I handed her the test results and said with a bitter smile, I'm pregnant. Isn't that wonderful? You and Sean Morchan are finally having a baby, Ji Anran exclaimed joyfully. But his heart is no longer with me, I said, my voice trembling as I looked at the sunlight outside the window. Su Wn is back. Ji Anran's face instantly darkened. That woman who dumped Sean Morchan to study abroad years ago. I nodded. Last night, Sean Morchan had been on the phone ever since he got back from the office, speaking in a tone so tender I could hardly believe it. She called me as soon as she landed, he said right in front of me, his eyes shining with a light I'd never seen before. She said she wants to see me. Then you should go, I replied, struggling to maintain a calm facade. He froze for a moment, seemingly caught off guard by my response. Yuyan, don't overthink it, he said. I'm just picking up a friend. He didn't come home until 2 a.m. that night, with the lingering scent of another woman's perfume on him. Yuyan, you can't go on like this. Ji Anran said, holding my hand. After all you've done for the Sean family, and now carrying his child, how dare he treat you this way? But now, I rested my hand on my still flat stomach, my heart tangled in a mess of emotions. This child came at just the right time, and yet at the worst possible time. When I returned to the Sean family villa that evening, the housekeeper informed me that Sean Morchan hadn't come back yet. I waited in the living room, clutching the medical report in my hand. 10 o'clock, 11, midnight. It wasn't until 1 in the morning that the sound of the door lock jolted me awake. Sean Morchan pushed the door open and found me still sitting in the living room. His brow furrowed slightly as he asked, Why aren't you in bed yet? There's something I need to tell you, I said, rising to my feet and handing him the test results. He took the report, glanced at it, and a flicker of surprise crossed his face before his expression settled back into calm. You're pregnant, yes, 6 weeks along, I replied, watching his eyes closely, hoping to catch a glimpse of joy. He just nodded and said, All right, take good care of yourself. With that, he started heading upstairs. Is that it? I couldn't help but ask. He glanced back at me and said, What else did you expect? My heart shattered completely in that moment. Sean Morchan, this is your first child. My voice trembled slightly. I know, his tone was detached. I'll have Aunt Jong take good care of you. I don't need Aunt Jong's care, I need your concern. He stopped in his tracks and turned to face me, a hint of impatience in his eyes. Yuyan, stop being unreasonable. You know the company has been very busy lately. Busy spending time with Su Wn. What about Su Wn? Are you busy with her too? I finally couldn't hold back and asked. Sean Morchan's face instantly darkened. Have you been following me? I didn't. But you never come home at night. And you always smell like another woman. What am I supposed to think? Friend, Su Wn just returned to the country and doesn't know her way around. What's wrong with me helping her get settled? Does helping her get settled require staying out until midnight? Lin Yuyan, Sean Morchan suddenly raised his voice. That's enough. You know what Su Wn means to me. I stared at him in stunned silence, unable to form words for what felt like an eternity. What does this mean, that I, his wife, am utterly worthless in his eyes? I'm tired, I'm going up to rest, he said before heading upstairs, leaving me standing alone in the vast living room. gazing at the light from the second floor, I was suddenly struck by how foreign this house felt to me. Early the next morning, before I even got out of bed, I heard a strange woman's laughter coming from downstairs. I quickly threw on some clothes and rushed downstairs to find a slender woman with flowing long hair sitting in the dining room. Talking with Shinmorchan, Su Wn. She was even more beautiful than in the photographs, elegant and poised, with a truly captivating smile. Morchan, this soup is absolutely delicious. Who made it? Her voice was soft and sweet. Aunt Jong made it. You're welcome to come by more often if you like it. Shinmorchan's tone was so tender it made my heart ache. I walked down the stairs, and both of them turned to look at me simultaneously. Yuyan, come have breakfast, Shinmorchan said. Though his tone was noticeably colder than when he spoke to Su Wn, Su Wn stood up and walked toward me with a smile. You must be Sister Yuyan. I'm Su Wn. Morchan talks about you often. She extended her hand, and I shook it politely. Hello, Sister Yuyan is so beautiful. No wonder Morchan married you. Her words sounded like a compliment, but something felt off. I sat down, and Nanny Jong served me a bowl of kanji. Madam, now that you're expecting, having some kanji would be good for you, said Mrs. Jong with a smile. Su Wn paused her hand and looked at me. Is Sister Yuyan pregnant? Yes, I replied calmly. She glanced at Shinmorchan, a flicker of some emotion in her eyes, but quickly smiled. That's wonderful news. Congratulations to you both. Shinmorchan looked at Su Wn with a hint of apology in his eyes. Suddenly, it dawned on me. But she didn't. He was apologizing to Su Wn for my pregnancy. The atmosphere at breakfast became strangely tense. Su Wn sat beside Shinmorchan, whispering things to him from time to time. They kept bursting into laughter, completely disregarding my presence. Morchan, do you remember that cafe we went to in France? Su Wan's voice was tinged with nostalgia. Of course I remember. You always loved their tiramisu the most. Shinmorchan's eyes sparkled with tenderness. I mechanically sipped my porridge, each mouthful feeling like a struggle to swallow. I'll take you to that new French restaurant when I have time. I heard the head chef was specially brought over from France. Shinmorchan said, really, that's wonderful. Su Wn beamed like a delighted child. I finally couldn't take it anymore. Setting down my spoon and standing up, I said, I'm full. Yuyan, why are you eating so little? Shinmorchan furrowed his brow. I have no appetite. I went upstairs without looking back. Su Wan's concerned voice came from behind. Morchan, is Yuyan feeling unwell? Should we take her to the hospital? Probably just pregnancy symptoms. She'll be fine. Shinmorchan's tone was flat. I walked into the bedroom, closed the door, and could no longer hold back my tears. The joy I felt yesterday upon learning I was pregnant has now been replaced by endless anguish. I took out my phone, found my mom's number, but hung up halfway through dialing. My mother's health isn't great, and I can't burden her with my worries. Besides, Shinmorchan did save the Lin family after all. I can't speak ill of our benefactor in front of my family. Madam, Mr. Shin asked me to bring some fruit up, said Nanny Jong as she knocked and entered. Thank you, Nanny Jong, I said with a strained smile. Madam, please don't take it to heart. Nanny Jong hesitated before continuing. Men are all like this, they forget the old when they see something new. But you're carrying his child, he won't truly do anything to harm you. I gave a bitter smile and asked, Nanny Jong, what do you think I should do? Madam, you're the treasured daughter of the Lin family. It's not like you have no other options. If he truly doesn't appreciate you, then, Jong Ma trailed off hesitantly. Then what? Get a divorce. But I love him, even though he's distant with me now, I still love him. And I'm carrying his child. Madam, I'll go downstairs to prepare some bird's nest soup for you. With that, Nanny Jong left the room. Sitting alone in the room, hearing the laughter and chatter drifting up from downstairs, my heart felt as if it were being torn apart. In the afternoon, when Shinmorchan was about to leave, I saw from the second floor that Su Wn got into the car with him. Where are they heading? I wanted to follow them to see, but it felt too pathetic to do so. Just as I was hesitating, my phone rang. Is this MS? Lin Yuyan. I'm the manager of Wonder Plaza. Someone just spent 300,000 yuan here using your supplementary card, and would like to confirm if this was an authorized transaction. I was taken aback. I haven't been to Wonder Plaza, nor have I lent my supplementary card to anyone. Then it's possible someone has made unauthorized transactions with your card. Please come in to resolve this as soon as possible." After hanging up, I immediately called the bank to investigate. The customer service representative informed me that the supplementary card had indeed been used to spend 300,000 yuan on luxury goods and cosmetics. I had customer service email me the transaction details, and I noticed the purchase was made exactly an hour ago. Shen Morchen took Su Wn out and used my supplementary card to buy her luxury goods. It just came back to me when we got married. I gave Shen Morchen all my bank cards, including the primary and supplementary ones, saying I wanted him to manage my finances. He actually used my money to buy things for another woman. I immediately drove to the Wanda Plaza. At the Louis Vuitton store, I checked the purchase records and confirmed that my supplementary card was used this afternoon to buy a 30,000 yuan bag, 20,000 yuan shoes, and various cosmetics. "Could you tell me who used the card?" I asked. It was a couple. The guy was very handsome, and the woman was quite beautiful. The man said he was buying gifts for his girlfriend. The recalled. My heart went completely cold. Shen Morchen told others right in front of me that Su Wn is his girlfriend. I drove home, and Shen Morchen hadn't returned yet. I sat in the living room waiting for him, the anger inside me burning hotter and hotter. It was already 9 in the evening when he finally came back. "Where did you go today?" I tried to keep my voice calm. "I went shopping with Suan. She just returned to the country and needed to get some supplies," he said casually. "Did you use my money?" Shen Morchen paused for a moment before nodding. "Right, I don't have my card with me." "Shen Morchen, you used my money to buy luxury goods for another woman, and you called her your girlfriend in front of others. Is this what you call helping a friend?" His expression shifted. "You're following me." "I wasn't following you. The mall called me to verify the purchase." I pulled out the receipt. 300,000. "Shen Morchen, you spent 300,000 of my money on her in one afternoon. What's this paltry sum to the Lin family?" he said impatiently. "This isn't about money, it's a matter of principle." I stood up. "You're my husband, not hers, Lin Yuyan. Don't push your luck." Shen Morchen suddenly snapped. "If it weren't for you, I would never have been separated from Su Wn for 3 years. If I hadn't married you out of gratitude, I'd be with her by now." I stared at him blankly, feeling as if a bucket of ice water had been poured over me from head to toe. Now that she's back, what's wrong with me wanting to make it up to her? What's the big deal about buying her a few things? Then what about me? What am I supposed to be? My voice trembled. "You're my wife, and I'll take responsibility for that. But Su Wn is the one I love that has never changed." He said it with such self-righteous conviction, as if I were the other woman. "Shen Morchen, do you remember our wedding vows? You promised to love and protect me, for better or for worse, in sickness and in health. Those were just empty words. Did you actually take them seriously?" He cut me off. "Just empty words. Then what are these 3 years of devotion, 3 years of sacrifices, and the child growing inside me supposed to be?" "Shen Morchen, I'm carrying your child." I made one last desperate plea. "I know, and I'll fulfill my responsibilities as a father. But that doesn't mean I have to sacrifice my own feelings for it." He turned to go upstairs after saying this. "What if I demand that you cut all ties with Su Wn?" I asked. He halted and turned to me, a glint of frost in his eyes. "Lin Yuyan, you have no right to make that demand. I'm your wife." "You're my wife in name only," he corrected. "I married you to repay a debt. Now that the debt is nearly settled, don't push your luck." In that moment, everything became crystal clear to me, in his eyes. I was never his wife, just a pawn to settle his debts. I caressed my belly and whispered to our unborn child, "Sweetheart, your father doesn't love us." The next morning, I came downstairs to find Su Wn sitting in the dining room again. She was wearing the new dress Shen Morchen bought her yesterday, clutching that 30,000 yuan handbag, glowing with radiance. "Good morning, Sister Yuyan," she greeted me sweetly. I nodded and took my seat. "What would you like to eat, madam?" asked Nanny Zhong. "Just some plain congee and simple dishes will do. I really don't have much of an appetite right now, Sister Yuyan." "Why are you eating so little?" Su Wn asked with concern. "You need to get more nutrition during pregnancy. I have my own doctor. No need for you to worry," I said flatly. Su Wn was taken aback for a moment, then smiled. "Sorry, I overstepped." Shen Morchen came downstairs at that moment, saw the situation, and frowned. "Yuyan, Su Wn is just concerned about you. I know, I don't want to dwell on this matter, Morchen. Could you come house hunting with me today, Suan Kood, I can't make sense of those contracts by myself, sure. It works out perfectly, I don't have any important meetings today, Shin Morchen replied gently, house hunting. Is she planning to settle down here? Are you planning to buy a place here? I couldn't help but ask. Yes, I'm preparing to return to China for my career, Su Wn said with a smile. But the housing prices are so high, the one I have my eye on costs 8 million. Suddenly, I had a bad feeling. Don't worry, I'll help you, Shin Morchen said without hesitation. My heart sank. You're buying her a house. What's wrong? Shin Morchen looked at me. 8 million is no small amount. It's nothing to the Lin family. He used that excuse again. That's my family's money, not yours. I finally snapped. What's yours is mine, isn't it? We're married. So my money can go toward buying Suan a house. Why should my money solve her problems? Suan watched us argue, a flicker of triumph in her eyes. Though she maintained an innocent facade, Sister Yuyen, if you're unwilling, just forget it. I can slowly save up to buy it myself. No need. Shin Morchen cut her off. I'll handle the money. He then looked at me and said, stay out of this matter. Trembling with rage, I said, Shin Morchen, are you really going to turn against me for her? You're the one being unreasonable. I stood up, unable to bear watching their intimate display any longer. I'm stepping out for a moment. Yuyen, you're pregnant now, you shouldn't be running around, Shin Morchen said. I know my own body best. I replied without turning back as I walked away. I drove to Lin Corporation and found my father, Yuyen. What brings you here? Dad looked surprised to see me. Dad, I'd like to know more about the assets under my name. Dad paused for a moment. Why are you asking about this all of a sudden? Did Shin Morchen do something to you? I shook my head. No, I just want to get a better understanding. My father had the CFO give me a detailed breakdown of the assets under my name. As the sole heir of the Lin family, I hold 30% of the company's shares, worth approximately 1 billion. Along with several properties and investments, bringing my total assets to over 1.5 billion. Back then, to save the Shin family, I used 500 million from those assets. Yuyen, the management rights for all these assets are currently in Shin Morchen's hands, right? The CFO asked. I nodded. When we got married, to show my trust in him, I handed over the management of all my assets to him. Dad, I want to take back control of these assets. Why? Dad asked nervously. Are you two having problems? I hesitated, then said, Shin Morchen's first love is back. He wants to use my money to buy her an apartment. Dad's face instantly darkened. What? How dare he? Dad, I'm still pregnant and don't want to make a scene. I just want to regain control of the money. You're absolutely right, Dad said angrily. That ungrateful Shin Morchen. If it weren't for our Lin family back then, the Shin family would have gone bankrupt long ago, and now he dares to use my daughter's money to support another woman. In the afternoon, Dad and I went to the bank and relevant institutions to transfer all management rights back under my name. When I got home in the evening, Shin Morchen was already waiting for me. What have you been up to? He asked. Just some personal matters, I said flatly. What kind of personal matters? I sat down and looked at him. Shin Morchen, I've taken back control of all my assets. He was taken aback. What do you mean? It means from today onward, I'll be managing my own money. If you want to buy a house for Su Wan, use your own funds. Shin Morchen's face darkened. Lin Yuyen, what are you implying? Since when do married couples keep such strict accounts? Didn't you say we're only married in name? Then we should keep things separate. I threw his own words from yesterday back at him. You. He was so furious he couldn't even form a complete sentence. Furthermore, I demand you stop using my money to buy anything for Su Wan immediately. You need to return the 300,000 from yesterday to me. Lin Yuyen, you're going too far. Am I going too far? I sneered. Shin Morchen, what do you call it when you use your wife's money to buy gifts for your mistress? It was an unknown number. She's not my mistress. Then what is she? Just a friend. Since when do friends deserve 300,000 yuan luxury gifts and 8 million yuan apartments? Shin Morchen was rendered speechless by my questioning. If you truly love her, then divorce me openly and use your own money to pursue her. But don't even think about using my money. Divorce. A flicker of panic crossed Shin Morchen's eyes. You're carrying my child, I won't divorce you, then know your place, you're my husband, not her boyfriend. With that, I went upstairs to my room. In the middle of the night, I heard Shin making a phone call on the balcony. Sue WN, I'm sorry, but the house matter might have to be put on hold. It's not that I don't want to help you, but Yu Yang has taken back the asset management rights. Please don't cry, let me think of another way. Hearing him whisper comforting words to Suan felt like my heart was being torn apart all over again. He'd rather sneak around in the dead of night comforting another woman than show any concern for his pregnant wife. I rested my hand on my belly and whispered, "My baby, Mommy will protect you no matter what." The next morning, I woke up feeling nauseous and spent a long time vomiting in the bathroom. It's a normal part of pregnancy. But I still feel awful. When I went downstairs, I saw Sue WN sitting in the dining room again. But today she looked pale, with red, swollen eyes as if she had been crying. "Are you okay, Yuyen? You don't look well," she asked with concern. "Just morning sickness, it's normal." I sat down and asked Nanny Jong to bring me some soda crackers. Shin came downstairs, frowned at the sight of me, and asked, "Should we go to the hospital?" "No need. The doctor said this is normal." "Then you should rest at home today, don't go out." I glanced at him but said nothing. Last night he stayed up until midnight comforting Sue WN over the phone, and now he's putting on this concerned act in front of me. "Mo Chen, I'd like to go see that apartment today. Even though I can't buy it right now, I should at least get a feel for the market," Sue WN said with pitiful vulnerability. "Alright, I'll go with you." Shin agreed without hesitation. I let out a cold laugh. "Shin, you just told me to rest at home, and now you're going to accompany another woman to look at apartments. Sue WAN isn't from around here, so she's not familiar with the area. Is she a child? Can't she take public transport by herself? Doesn't she know how to use GPS?" I cut him off. Sue WN bit her lip. "Sister Yuyen, if you'd rather not, I can go by myself. Don't listen to her." Sue WN. Shin reassured her before turning to me. "Lin Yuyen, must you always be so difficult, acting spoiled? Go ahead without me. In your eyes, everything I say is just me being unreasonable anyway." I stood up to go upstairs when a sudden wave of dizziness hit me, and I stumbled forward uncontrollably. "Madam," Nanny Jong cried out in alarm, rushing to steady me. Shin also stood up and came over to check on me. "What's wrong?" "It's nothing, just a bit dizzy." I steadied myself with effort. "Let me take you to the hospital for a checkup," Shin said. "No need." I pushed his hand away. "Aren't you supposed to accompany Sue WN to view the apartment? Don't let me hold up your important plans." "Yuyen, I'll go to the hospital by myself. You don't need to come with me." I shook off his supporting hand, went upstairs alone to grab my bag, and headed out. At the hospital, after the examination, the doctor said there was nothing seriously wrong with me, just some malnutrition and emotional instability. He advised me to get more rest and try to stay in good spirits. Staying in a good mood, that feels like a pipe dream to me right now. After leaving the hospital, I didn't head straight home. Instead, I went to a law firm. "Miss Lin, what can I do for you, Mr. Wang?" Our family's legal counsel has handled numerous legal matters for the Lin family. Attorney Wang, I'd like to consult about legal matters regarding divorce. Attorney Wang was taken aback. "You're considering divorce from Mr. Shun?" "Just exploring my options and understanding the relevant legal provisions." "Understood." Attorney Wang then walked me through various divorce scenarios and the legal framework for asset division, since Shin and I didn't sign a prenuptial agreement. Our postmarital assets are technically considered joint property. However, most of my assets were acquired before marriage and remain separate property. If you can provide evidence of infidelity, it could give you an advantage during property division, Attorney Wang explained. "What kind of evidence would qualify, such as hotel receipts, intimate photos, witness testimonies, and similar documentation?" I nodded, taking mental note of all this information. When I got home that evening, Shin still hadn't returned. I asked Nanny Jong, "What time did Mr. Shin leave today?" "Around 10 in the morning. He left with that Miss Sue," Nanny Jong replied. "It's already 8 p.m., and they've been out together for 10 hours. Does it really take 10 hours to look at a house?" My mood was getting worse and worse. Shin didn't come back until 9:30. "Where did you go today?" I asked. "I went with Suan to look at a few apartments. Then we had dinner together, he said casually. Just the two of you. I took a deep breath. Shinmorchan, do you think it's appropriate for a married man to be out this late alone with another woman? We were just looking at houses. House hunting takes 10 hours. Shinmorchan replied impatiently. We viewed a few properties. Then Su Wn said she wanted hot pot. So I went with her. What's the problem? While you were eating hot pot with her, did it ever cross your mind that your pregnant wife was waiting for you at home? My heart nearly stopped. Didn't you say you didn't need my company? I was so furious with him I couldn't get a word out. Besides, didn't you go to the hospital today? What did the doctor say? He asked. The doctor said I'm malnourished and emotionally unstable, advised me to rest more and stay cheerful. I looked at him. But I just can't manage that. Why can't you do it? How am I supposed to stay cheerful when my husband goes on dates with other women every single day? Shinmorchan fell silent for a moment before saying, Yuyen, I know you're upset right now, but you have to understand, Suan just returned to the country and needs my help. And what about me? I'm carrying your child, don't I need your companionship and care? You have Aunt Jong taking care of you, plus all the Lin family's resources. You lack for nothing. I lack you. I couldn't help but cry out, Shinmorchan, what I'm missing is your care and companionship. He looked at me. A flicker of some emotion passing through his eyes before his expression turned cold again. Yuyen, you know exactly what our relationship is. I'll fulfill my duties as a husband, but you can't expect me to devote all my time to you. Did I ever ask for all your time? I just want you to prioritize your wife over other women. Su Wn means a lot to me. What about me? You're important too. If I matter to you too, why do you keep brushing me aside for her? Shinmorchan was left speechless by my question. I looked at him and suddenly felt exhausted. Shinmorchan, I'm done arguing with you. Do whatever you want. With that, I turned and went upstairs. Yuyen, he called after me. Back in my room, I sat on the edge of the bed and rested a hand on my belly. Sweetheart, Mommy is so tired, I whispered to the child within. But I'll keep going, for you. Just then, I heard Shinmorchan's voice carrying upstairs as he made a phone call. Su Wn, are you home yet? What did you think of the house today? Don't worry about the money, I'll figure something out. Hearing the tenderness in his voice, my tears started falling again. Why is he capable of being so gentle with Suan, yet only shows me indifference and impatience? Is it really because I'm not good enough? The next morning, I was woken up by the sound of an argument. When I went downstairs, I saw a strange middle-aged woman standing in the living room, arguing loudly with Shinmorchan. Shinmorchan, have you no conscience? The woman yelled, pointing her finger at him. Su Wn went abroad to study for you, and now that she's back, you're letting her suffer out there on her own. Upon closer look, I noticed this woman bore some resemblance to Su Wn, likely her mother. Auntie, please calm down, Shinmorchan urged. I'm already working on a solution. What solution? Let her stay in a hotel forever. Suwan's mother snapped. What kind of life is that for a young woman, living outside on her own? Just then, Su Wn walked in from outside. When she saw me standing on the stairs, a flicker of embarrassment crossed her eyes. Mom, please don't be like this. Morchan has his own difficulties too, Su Wn said, holding her mother's hand. What difficulties? Isn't it just because of this woman? Suwan's mother looked at me, her eyes filled with hostility. I walked down the stairs and said, Auntie, hello, I'm Shinmorchan's wife, Lin Yuyen. Wife? Suwan's mother sneered. What kind of wife are you? If you hadn't gotten in the way, my daughter would have married Morchan long ago. Mom. Su Wn tugged gently at her mother's sleeve. Don't pull at me, Mrs. Su shook off her daughter's hand. I'm going to make things crystal clear today. Mo Chen's true love is my daughter. You're just a bought and paid for sham of a wife. My face flushed crimson in an instant. Enough. Shinmorchan finally spoke up. Auntie, that's quite enough. Why can't I speak the truth? It's a fact. Suwan's mother continued. If the Lin family hadn't threatened you with money back then, would you have married her? Now that my daughter has returned, you should divorce her and marry my daughter. Shinmorchan glanced at me, looking somewhat awkward. Auntie, this matter is complicated. What's so complicated about it? You're in love with my daughter, not her. Standing there, I felt like a clown being publicly humiliated. And my daughter doesn't even have a place to live right now, staying in hotels every single day. How can you be so heartless? Suwan's mother continued. Shinmorchan was silent for a moment. then looked at me and said, Yu Yang, what if we let Su Wn stay with us for a while? I stared at him in disbelief, unable to believe what I was hearing. What did you just say? She'll just stay temporarily until she finds a suitable place, Shen Morchen said. Shen Morchen, have you lost your mind? I couldn't help raising my voice. You're letting your mistress move into our home. She's not my mistress, she's my friend. Friend, I sneered. Since when do friends need you to spend 300,000 on luxury goods for them? Since when do friends require your company for dinners until midnight? Yuyin. Stop being unreasonable. I'm being unreasonable. I trembled with rage. Shen Morchen, I'm your wife, I'm carrying your child, and you call it unreasonable when I refuse to let my rival live under our roof. Su Wn spoke up at that moment. Sister Yuyin, if you're not comfortable with it, we can forget the arrangement. I don't want to cause any trouble between you and your husband. Now you're worried about causing trouble between us. I stared at her. You should have thought about that the moment you stepped back into this country. Yuyin. Shen Morchen tried to stop me. Don't call me that. I turned to face him. Shen Morchen, I'm asking you, who do you truly consider your wife? Shen Morchen fell silent. Answer me. I pressed him. Legally speaking, you're my wife. He finally said. Legally. So emotionally, I'm not. I felt like a hole had been torn through my chest. The pain so sharp I could barely breathe. And what about your feelings? I knew the answer would hurt, but I couldn't stop myself from asking. Shen Morchen glanced at Su Wn, then at me, and finally said, Su Wn is the one I love. In that moment, my entire world came crashing down, right in front of me, in front of the child I was carrying. He declared his love for another woman. Fine, I fought back tears. In that case, let's get a divorce. No, Shen Morchen immediately refused. You're carrying my child. I won't divorce you. Why, if you love her? Why won't you agree to a divorce? A child needs a complete family. I laughed until tears streamed down my face. Shen Morchen, do you really think this is a complete family? A father who loves another woman, a mother humiliated every single day, you call that a complete family? Stop talking nonsense. Nonsense. I pointed at Su Wan's mother. Didn't you hear what she just said? That I'm a wife bought with money, that you should divorce me and marry her daughter. Do those words sound right to you? Shen Morchen's face darkened. Auntie's words were indeed a bit harsh. Backslash going too far. Backslash I sneered. Backslash in your eyes. Everything she said was the truth. So how is that going too far? Backslash. Backslash Yuyin. You're too emotional right now. Let's discuss this later. Backslash. Backslash there's no need to discuss it later. Backslash I wiped away my tears. Backslash Shen Morchen. If you want Su Wn to move in, fine. But I'm moving out. Backslash. Backslash you can't move out. You're pregnant. Backslash. So that's your decision. I looked at him. Either she moves in and I move out, or she doesn't stay here. Your call. Shen Morchen was torn. Su Wn spoke up then. Morchen, maybe I should just stay at a hotel instead. No. Su Wan's mother immediately objected. Why should my daughter have to stay in a hotel? What right does this woman have to kick my daughter out? Because I'm the lady of this house. I finally snapped. This is Shen Morchen's and my home, not hers. What right does an outsider have to move in? An outsider? My daughter is no outsider. She was Morchen's first love, the one he truly loves. So what? She has no standing here now. She's an outsider. You. Su Wan's mother was so furious she couldn't get the words out. Enough. Shen Morchen finally snapped. Everyone, quiet. He looked at me and said, Yuyin. Su Wn will stay in the guest room. She won't bother you. I stared at him blankly, my heart turning completely cold. In the end, he still chose Su Wn. Fine. Just perfect. I nodded. Shen Morchen. Remember the choice you made today. With that, I turned and went upstairs to start packing my bags. I packed my clothes and important belongings into the suitcase, ready to leave this heartbreak of a home. Madam, are you really leaving? Zhong Ma stood at the doorway, her eyes filled with reluctance. Aunt Zhong, you've been with the Shen family for so many years. I won't make things difficult for you, I said, holding her hand. Take good care of yourself from now on, madam. Aunt Zhong's eyes welled up with tears. Mr. Shen, he has his own choices, and I respect that, I said, forcing a smile. After I leave, this household will be entrusted to Miss Su Wn. As I went downstairs, Shen Morchen was in the living room speaking with Su Wn and her mother. He froze when he saw me coming down with my suitcase. Are you really leaving? Haven't you already made your choice? I said calmly. Since Su Wn is moving in, I'll move out. It's more convenient for everyone this way. Yu Yang, don't be stubborn. Go back to your room, Shen Morchen urged anxiously. I'm not being stubborn, I just don't want to embarrass myself. I glanced at Su Wn and her mother, who were watching the drama unfold. As a pregnant woman, I simply don't have the energy to deal with such complicated family dynamics. You're pregnant now, you can't live alone out there. Don't worry about that, I said coldly. It's not like I have nowhere to go. The Lin family has plenty of properties. Shen Morchen reached for my suitcase. I don't agree with you moving out, Shen Morchen. I looked at him. You can't have Su Wn move in and still expect me to stay and play along with this charade. I'm not that pathetic. This isn't some act. Then what is it? Forcing me to live under the same roof with your lover, watching you two be all lovey-dovey. If that's not torture for me, then what is? Shen Morchen was left speechless by my words. Su Wn spoke up then. Sister Yuyan, maybe I should move out after all, so I don't cause trouble between you and your husband. Too late. I sneered. There hasn't been any marital affection between us since the moment you stepped into this house. I dragged my suitcase toward the door. Lin Yuyan, stop right there. Shen Morchen suddenly exploded. You're carrying my child, you can't just run off like this. I halted, turned to face him, and said, so you're saying you want to keep me under house arrest? I'm doing this for you and the baby. For me and the baby. I laughed bitterly. Shen Morchen, do you really think this environment is good for us? Making me watch you flaunt your relationship with another woman every day, is that supposed to be beneficial for a pregnant woman's mental health? Su Wn and I haven't, whether you have or not, you know the truth. I cut him off, and even if nothing's happened yet, it will eventually. So why should I stay here and humiliate myself? Shen Morchen fell silent. If you truly care about this child, let me have some peace during my pregnancy. I said finally, we can discuss custody after the baby is born. Yuyan, I ignored him and walked out the door, pulling my suitcase behind me. Sitting in the car, I called my dad. Dad, I'd like to come home for a while. What's wrong? Did Shen Morchen do something to you? My father asked anxiously. No, I just want to spend some time with you and Mom. I didn't want to worry him. Alright, I'll have someone get your room ready. I drove back to the Lin family's ancestral home. This is where I grew up, and the familiar surroundings helped ease my tense nerves a little. Welcome back, Miss. Lin Ma looked delighted to see me. Well, I'll be staying at home for a while, of course. I'll go tidy up the room for you right away. When Mom and Dad heard I was back, they both rushed home from work. Yuyan, what made you decide to come back home all of a sudden? Mom asked with concern. I'm homesick, I said with a strained smile. Mom studied my face, her brow furrowing. Have you lost weight? You don't look well, it's probably just pregnancy symptoms. Then you should rest properly. Mom took my hand. Stay home and take good care of yourself during the pregnancy. Don't worry about anything else. That evening, Dad called me into his study. Yuyan, be honest with me, are you having problems with Shen Morchen? Seeing the concern in Dad's eyes, I couldn't hold back my tears. Dad, don't be afraid, you can tell me anything. Dad reassured me, patting my shoulder. I told Dad everything that had happened during this time. After hearing what I said, Dad's face turned ashen. That ungrateful Shen Morchen, if we hadn't saved his family back then, he'd still be begging on the streets somewhere. How dare he treat my daughter like this? Dad, please calm down, I said, worried about his health. How can I not be furious? Is he bullying our Lin family because we have no one to stand up for us? Dad said angrily. Yuyan, you can't keep tolerating this. You have to teach him a lesson. I've already moved out. Is moving out enough? Dad sneered. He's using your money to support another woman. Can you really swallow that insult? Honestly, I can't stomach it. Why should I let people walk all over me like this? Why should my money be spent on luxury items for other women? Why should I put up with this humiliation? Dad, what do you think I should do? First, cut off his financial resources. Dad's eyes gleamed with malice. The Shen Group's growth these past years has been entirely propped up by our Lin family's support. Without us, they're nothing. Then, make him understand the consequences of crossing the Lin family, Dad declared. I'll make sure he learns that the daughter of the Lin family isn't someone he can mess with. Listening to my father's words, the fire of rage ignited within me as well. Since Shen Morchen doesn't value me, There's no reason for me to keep swallowing my pride. Dad, I'll follow your lead. Early the next morning, Father sprang into action. First, in the name of the board of directors, he demanded that Shin Group immediately repay the 500 million loan from that year. Then, he notified all companies with business ties to the Lin family to cease all dealings with Shin Group. He also leveraged the Lin family's banking connections to freeze part of Shin Corporation's cash flow. By afternoon, Shin Morchin couldn't sit still any longer. He called me countless times, but I didn't answer a single one. In the end, he drove straight to the Lin residence. Uncle Lin, what do you mean by this? Shin Morchin sat in the living room, his face dark with displeasure. What do I mean? Her father sneered. I should be asking you that question. Have I done something to offend you? The person you've offended isn't me, it's my daughter. His voice was icy. Shin Morchin, did you really think I wouldn't find out what you've been up to lately? Shin Morchin's expression darkened. Uncle Lin, this is a matter between Yang Yang and me. She's my daughter. Her business is my business. Dad stood up. You're using my daughter's money to support another woman. Even letting her move into your home. What do you take our Lin family for? Uncle Lin, you've misunderstood. Misunderstood. Dad pulled out a folder. These are the spending records I had investigated. 300,000 on luxury goods for Su Wn, 800,000 as a deposit for her apartment, plus all your dating expenses, over $1 million in total. Every single cent came from Yenyen's account. Shin Morchin stared at the evidence, speechless. Shin Morchin, what do you have to say for yourself? Shin Morchin sat there, his face turning pale. He never expected his father to investigate so thoroughly, even tracking every single expense. Uncle Lin, I admit I was in the wrong, but you shouldn't use business tactics to resolve the personal matters between Yuyen and me. Shin Morchin defended himself earnestly. Personal matters? Her father sneered. You used my daughter's money to support another woman, you call that personal matters? You let another woman move into my daughter's home, you call that personal matters? Shin Morchin, when your family was on the verge of bankruptcy, who was it that saved you? Her father stepped closer to him. It was my daughter who mobilized all the Lin family's resources and spent 5 billion to pull you through. I know, and I've always been grateful. Grateful. Dad cut him off. Is this how you show gratitude? You marry my daughter, then use her money to chase after another woman. Shin Morchin was utterly humiliated by the accusation. And now Yuyen is carrying your child. Instead of taking proper care of her, you've driven her so mad she moved back to her parents' house. Do you even have a conscience? I never meant for things to turn out this way. Shin Morchin's voice was barely above a whisper. Never meant to. Father snapped. Then what were you thinking when you declared your love for another woman right in front of my daughter? Shin Morchin fell silent. Just then, I came downstairs. Seeing me appear, Shin Morchin immediately stood up. Yuyen, you should go back. Let's talk this through properly. What is there to talk about? I looked at him coldly. You've already made your choice, haven't you? I don't want to divorce you, so what? You're only staying married for the children, not for me. I walked over and sat down on the sofa. Shin Morchin, what meaning does a marriage like this hold for me? Yuyen, I admit I haven't handled this well, but we can work through these issues gradually. How exactly? By accepting your relationship with Su Wn, or by pretending I don't see what's between you two? Shin Morchin was left speechless by my questions. Shin Morchin, if you truly love Su Wn, then divorce me properly and go pursue her. I looked him in the eye. But don't think you can have your cake and eat it too, keeping the Lin family as your safety net while being with Su Wn. I'm not two-timing anyone. No, I pulled out my phone and played a recording. This is your phone call with Su Wn from last night. Shin Morchin's voice came from the phone. Su Wn, don't cry. I'll find a way to get you moved in. I know Yu Yang can be a bit willful, but you have to believe me, the one I love most in my heart is you. Once this period is over, we can be together openly. As he listened to the recording, Shin Morchin's face turned deathly pale. You recorded this? He stared at me in disbelief. I was just protecting myself. I turned off the recording. Shin Morchin, this recording is enough to prove you cheated. Dad sneered from the side. Shin Morchin, what do you have to say for yourself now? Shin Morchin took a deep breath. Yuyen, it's true that I have feelings for Su Wn, but I also have a responsibility to you. I won't divorce you, because you're carrying my child, and because I haven't repaid the debt I owe to the Lin family, I suddenly felt exhausted. Hearing that answer, my heart shattered completely. He's not staying married out of love, but out of a sense of duty and gratitude. Shinmorchan, I don't need your sense of duty, and the Lin family doesn't need your repayment of favors. I stood up. But I do need you to give me a proper explanation. What kind of explanation? First, you need to repay all the money you spent on SUWN using my funds during this period, which totals 1.3 million. Second, you must issue a public apology to me and admit to your infidelity. Finally, you must cut off all contact with SUWN. Shinmorchan fell into a long silence after hearing my demands, and if I refuse, he asked, then we'll see each other in court. I said coldly, I have ample evidence of your infidelity. When it comes to the division of assets, you won't get a single penny. Moreover, the Lin family will sever all cooperative ties with the Shun Group. Dad added, you should know how long the Shun Group can last without the Lin family's support. Shinmorchan's face grew even more grim. He was well aware that the Shun Group's growth in recent years had relied entirely on the Lin family's backing. Without the Lin family as their pillar, the Shun Group would soon find itself in dire straits. I need some time to think it over, Shinmorchan finally said. I'll give you 3 days. I stood up. I expect your answer in 3 days. Shinmorchan glanced at me, then turned and left. After he left, Dad patted me on the shoulder and said, Yuyen, you did the right thing. Dad, I'm so tired. I leaned against my father's chest. How did my marriage end up like this? It's not your fault. Shinmorchan is just too greedy. Father comforted me. He wants the Lin family's support while still being with SUWN. A man like that doesn't deserve your devotion. But what about the baby? I touched my stomach. I don't want our child to grow up without a father from the very beginning. The child will have a father, but it doesn't have to be Shinmorchan. Father said, Yuyen, you're still young and have plenty of options. Don't throw away your happiness for a man who isn't worth it. I nodded, my mind already made up. If Shinmorchan refuses to agree to my terms, then I'll divorce him. After all, in his heart, I was never the one he truly loved. If that's the case, why should we continue this meaningless marriage? That night, I made a decision. I was going to thoroughly investigate the relationship between Shinmorchan and SUWN, and gather more evidence. If they really had some unspeakable secret, I was going to make them pay. The next day, I contacted a private investigation firm. What would you like us to investigate, Ms. Lin? The investigator inquired. I want to look into the relationship between my husband Shinmorchan and a woman named SUWN. I handed him Suwan's photo and information. I need to know every interaction they have now, meetings, calls, money transfers, everything. No problem, we'll provide you with a detailed report. Also, I want to know Suwan's background. What has she been doing abroad these past 3 years? Why did she suddenly return? And what are her sources of income? Understood. We'll look into this thoroughly. A week later, the investigation report came out. Reading the report's contents left me completely stunned. It turns out Suwan hadn't been studying abroad these past 3 years. She'd been someone's mistress. She got involved with a wealthy middle-aged man and lived a lavish lifestyle funded by his money. But recently, the man's wife discovered her existence, causing a huge scene that forced SUWN to return to her home country. What shocked me even more was that SUWN had already contacted Shinmorchan before returning. Her return flight ticket was purchased by Shinmorchan. The hotel she stayed at was also booked in advance by Shinmorchan. So from the very beginning, this was all premeditated, and I, like a fool, thought it was just an accident. Holding this investigation report, my hands were trembling. The relationship between Shinmorchan and SUWN is even more toxic than I imagined. They had been secretly communicating during my pregnancy, plotting Suwan's return to the country, and I was kept completely in the dark. Miss, are you all right? Nanny Lin asked with concern, noticing my pale complexion. It's fine, I just need some quiet time. I locked myself in the room, going over the report again and again. The report contained extensive phone records, bank transfers, and email correspondence they'd maintained since their time abroad. So SUWN had been in contact with Shinmorchan the whole time she was his mistress overseas. She presented herself as a devoted woman who studied abroad for love, when in reality she was just chasing wealthy men overseas. Yet Shinmorchan, fully aware of her true nature, Still couldn't get her out of his mind. He even took the initiative to invite her back to the country after I became pregnant. I remembered that morning when I told him about my pregnancy, he was on the phone with Sue WN saying, "Don't cry, Sue WN, I'll come pick you up right now." So he had known all along that Sue WN was coming back. My pregnancy news was just an unexpected complication for him. The phone rang, it was Shin Morchin calling. "Yuyen, I've made up my mind." His voice sounded weary. "I accept your terms." I let out a cold laugh. "What conditions?" "Repay 3 million, issue a public apology, and cut all ties with Sue WN. "Too late," I said flatly. "What do you mean?" Shin Morchin was taken aback. "It's too late," I said, staring at the investigation report in my hands. "Shin Morchin, I've uncovered the truth about your relationship with Sue WN." Silence hung on the other end of the line. "You started planning Sue Wan's return a year ago. You bought her plane ticket, booked her hotel, and even covered part of her living expenses abroad. Yuyen, please let me explain. Explain what? How you teamed up to deceive me. My voice grew colder. Shin Morchin. Do you know what Sue WN has been doing abroad these past 3 years? She's been studying abroad. Studying abroad. I laughed. She's a mistress. Chasing after wealthy middle-aged men, living a lavish life on their money, and you, knowing exactly what she is, still cling to her so desperately. Shin Morchin's ragged breathing came through the phone. "That's impossible." His voice trembled slightly. "Impossible." I read him the key findings from the investigation report. John Smith, 58, an American real estate developer. Sue WN met him while studying abroad and became his mistress. He bought her an apartment in New York and provided her with a monthly allowance of $30,000. Enough. Shin Morchin cut me off. "What's wrong? Don't want to hear more," I sneered. "There's even juicier details. To maintain the relationship, Sue WN even had 2 abortions. I've had enough." Shin Morchin's voice was laced with anger. "Shin Morchin, so this is the white moonlight you've been pining for, a professional homewrecker," I said, my voice dripping with sarcasm. "For a woman like this, you'd willingly hurt your own wife and child." There was a long silence on the other end of the line. "Yuyen, no matter what Sue WAN has done in the past, my feelings for her are real," Shin Morchin finally said. His words made me laugh in disbelief. "Really? You don't even know what kind of person she is. How genuine can your feelings be? Feelings don't need reasons." "Then I don't need a reason to leave you either," I said without hesitation. "Shin Morchin, let's get a divorce." "No," he objected immediately. "You're carrying my child. I'll have this baby. But I won't let them be raised by a father like you." I cut him off. "A man who can't even tell right from wrong doesn't deserve to be a father. Lin Yuyen, don't push me." Shin Morchin's voice carried a threat. "Push you?" I sneered. "What exactly have I pushed you to do? I just don't want to continue this farce any longer. If you dare leave, What are you going to do?" I cut him off. "Shin Morchin, what leverage do you even have left to threaten me with?" Truth be told, he had no bargaining chips left to intimidate me. The Lin family had withdrawn their support, and the Shin Corporation was facing a financial crisis. Meanwhile, I held solid evidence of his infidelity. He wouldn't gain any advantage in a legal battle. "I'll have my lawyer send you the divorce papers in 3 days," I said. "I hope you'll cooperate." The next day, my father gave me some news. "Yuyen, Shin Corporation's stock price has plummeted 30% in the past 2 days. The board has already raised concerns about Shin Morchin. Is it because we pulled our funding?" "That's not the only reason," Dad said. "Someone also leaked Shin Morchin's affair to the media. And now it's all over the news." I was taken aback. "Who leaked it?" "I don't know. But the details in the leak are very thorough. They even dug up Sue Wan's full background," Dad said, looking at me. "Now everyone online is calling Shin Morchin a heartless scoundrel, and the Shin Group's reputation has taken a serious hit." I pulled out my phone to check the news and, sure enough, found the related reports. The headline is shocking. Shin Group president cheats on his wife. Mistress turns out to be a professional escort. The report includes not only photos of Shin Morchin and Sue WAN but also detailed spending and call records. Even Sue Wan's romantic history abroad has been dug up. The comments section is overwhelmingly condemning Shin Morchin. "This man is absolutely disgusting. He has a wife but still keeps a mistress on the side." The The worst part is the mistress is a professional homewrecker. Talk about trash attracting trash. His wife is pregnant. And he chooses this moment to cheat. He's completely heartless. Boycott Shin Corporation products. We can't let scum like him profit from our purchases. Reading these comments, I'm overwhelmed with mixed emotions. As much as I despise Shin Morchin, seeing him get cancelled by the entire internet still tugs at my heartstrings. After all, we were once married. Dad, you didn't actually orchestrate this leak, did you? I asked. Absolutely not. Dad shook his head. But I suspect someone within Shin Corporation might have it out for Shin Morchin, seizing this chance to kick him while he's down. That's a possibility too. Shin Morchin has made quite a few enemies in the company over the years. Now that he's in trouble, it's no surprise someone would take this opportunity for payback. Just then, my phone rang again. It was Su WN calling this time. Sister Yuyan, please let Mo Chen go. Su WN sobbed as soon as the call connected. Let him go, I sneered. Su WN. Are you mistaken about something? I didn't look back. Did you have someone post those news articles online? It wasn't me, I answered truthfully. Could you help clear things up? Morchin is in serious danger. Why should I help you clear anything up? I cut her off. Su WN. The things you've done were shady to begin with. Now that they've come to light, who's to blame? But those stories about my time abroad are completely false. Su WN tried to defend herself. Fake. I pulled out the investigation report. Does John Smith even exist? Is the apartment he bought for you in New York still there? Did he transfer money into your bank account? Suan was left speechless by my questions. Suan, facts are facts. There's no use trying to talk your way out of this, I said coldly. Besides, these matters have nothing to do with me. You made your own choices, and now you must face the consequences. Sister Yuyan, can we talk? I'd like to apologize to you in person. No need, I cut her off bluntly. Su WN, we have nothing left to discuss. You want Shin Morchin. He's yours now. You two can be together openly. But the current situation is of your own making. I interrupted her. If you truly love each other, face these challenges head on instead of coming to me for help. A week later, the lawyer delivered the divorce papers to Shin Morchin's office. The terms of the agreement were straightforward. I would have custody of the child, we would each keep our own assets, and Shin Morchin would pay monthly child support. But Shin Morchin refused to sign. Mr. Shin said he absolutely would not agree to the divorce. The lawyer reported back to me. He also said that if Ms. Lin insists on divorcing, he will fight for custody of the child. Fight for custody, I scoffed. With his current reputation and financial situation, indeed, after all this media frenzy, Shin Morchin's reputation is in tatters. Shin Group's stock continues to plummet, and some board members are already calling for his resignation. Under these circumstances, there's no way the judge would grant him custody of the child. Then let's file for divorce directly, I told my lawyer. We have all the evidence we need, we're not afraid to go to court. Just as we were preparing to file the lawsuit, something unexpected happened. Su WN was in trouble. She was found in her hotel room after attempting suicide by cutting her wrists, but fortunately was rushed to the hospital and saved in time. The news quickly reached me. Yuyan, Su WN attempted suicide. Ji Anran informed me over the phone. Shin Morchin is keeping vigil at her hospital bedside now, and they say he's completely distraught. Hearing this news left me with mixed emotions, even though I can't stand Su WN. I never wished for her to die. What drove her to take such a step? I asked. I heard she couldn't handle the online backlash, and after her overseas affairs came to light, her parents cut ties with her. Cyberbullying is truly terrifying. While Su WN made mistakes, she shouldn't have been driven to the point of suicide. How is she doing now? The doctor said she's not in life-threatening condition, but her mental state is very fragile. Ji Anran said. Shin Morchin is now blaming you entirely, claiming you deliberately sought revenge and caused this outcome. I was so furious I couldn't even speak. It's clearly their own fault, so why are they trying to pin it on me? What right does he have to blame me? I said angrily. He's the one who used my money to support another woman. He's the one who told another woman he loved her right in front of me, and now that there's trouble, he blames me. Don't be angry, I'm just relaying the situation, Ji Anran said soothingly. But the online sentiment is shifting a bit. Some people are starting to sympathize with Su WN, saying you're too cruel. I checked my phone and sure enough, there were some dissenting opinions. Although Su Wan was at fault, Lin Yuyen went too far by driving her to suicide. Why must women make things harder for each other? They're both victims. Lin Yuyen is a wealthy heiress with plenty of money. Why push someone to the brink like that? Reading these comments fills me with a sense of helplessness. People are quick to sympathize with the underdog, often forgetting who the real victim is. I'm the betrayed wife, the deceived pregnant woman, yet now I'm being cast as the vicious perpetrator. This world is truly absurd. Just then, Shen Morchen called, Lin Yuyen, are you satisfied now? His voice was dripping with hatred. Su Wan almost died. Are you happy? Shen Morchen, what right do you have to blame me? I snapped angrily. What have I done? I just don't want to continue this marriage. You're the one who had the story leaked. You're the one who spread Su Wan's private information. I told you it wasn't me. I retorted loudly. And even if it was, so what? The things you've done were shady to begin with. She's already paid for her mistakes. Shen Morchen's voice trembled with tears. She almost died. Lin Yuyen. Then what about me? I sobbed. I was deceived by both of you. You used my money to support another woman. And I had to endure this humiliation while pregnant. Doesn't that make me a victim too? That still doesn't justify driving someone to their death. Did I drive her to her death? Did I force her to be the other woman? Did I tell her to chase after wealthy men? Did I ask her to come back and destroy my family? I screamed hysterically. Shen Morchen, have you no conscience left? Enough. Shen Morchen cut me off. Lin Yuyen, mark my words, if anything happens to Su Wan, I will make you pay. You'll make me pay, I sneered. Shen Morchen, I can't wait to see you try. After hanging up the phone, I sank onto the sofa, tears streaming uncontrollably down my face. How did things come to this? All I ever wanted was a simple marriage, a loving husband, and a happy family. Why is it so hard? Please don't cry. Miss, Nanny Lin handed me a tissue. You mustn't get so worked up in your condition. Mom Lin, did I do something wrong? I asked, my voice choked with emotion. You didn't do anything wrong. Mom Lin said firmly, the ones at fault are those who don't know how to appreciate what they have. But now everyone's saying I drove Su Wan to her death. Miss, you must believe in yourself, Mom Lin said, patting my shoulder. You were just protecting yourself and your child. There's nothing wrong with that. I nodded, trying hard to calm myself down. Mama Lin is right, I haven't done anything wrong. I was only protecting myself and my child. If that's considered wrong, then this world is truly unjust. The next day, I made a decision. I'm going to hold a press conference and reveal the whole truth. Since someone insists on twisting the facts, I'll show everyone who the real victim is. Yuyen, are you sure about this? Dad asked with concern. This will put you in the public eye. I have to do this. Dad, I said firmly. I won't take the blame for something I didn't do. All right, I've got your back. Dad nodded. Speak up when you need to. Don't let anyone walk all over you. The press conference was scheduled for the following afternoon. The announcement immediately caught the media's attention. After all, this is the first time the person involved has spoken publicly. Before the press conference began, I changed into a dignified black suit and applied light makeup. Even though I'm pregnant, I still carry myself with grace. Friends from the media, thank you all for coming, I said from the podium. My voice calm and resolute. Today, I want to set the record straight on a few matters. The journalists in the audience held their breath. First of all, I want to make it clear that I had nothing to do with the online leaks about Mr. Shen Morchen and Ms. Su Wan. I looked at the cameras in the audience. I have sufficient evidence to prove this. I had my assistant play a recording of my phone call with the investigation company, proving that I only hired them to conduct an investigation and never asked them to leak anything to the media. Secondly, I want to clarify that I never intended to hurt anyone. I continued, I am simply a betrayed wife trying to protect myself and the baby I'm carrying. What you may not know is that during my pregnancy, my husband used my money to buy luxury goods for another woman, booked hotel rooms for her, and even planned to purchase a house for her. My voice trembled slightly. As an expectant mother, the psychological burden I carried is beyond what most can imagine. The journalists in the audience began murmuring among themselves. What hurt me even more was when I confronted him about these actions. My husband looked me in the eye and declared he was in love with someone else. I wiped away my tears. In that moment, my heart shattered completely. I'm no saint, nor am I some savior. I'm just an ordinary woman, a wounded wife, an expectant mother about to bring new life into this world. I said, meeting the gaze of the reporters, I have every right to protect myself, and I have every right to walk away. I deeply regret Ms. Suwan's suicide, but it is not my responsibility. My voice grew firmer. One must face the consequences of their own choices. After the press conference, the online sentiment shifted immediately. People began to sympathize with my plight and understand my decisions. The press conference yielded better results than I had anticipated. Not only did it clear my name, but it also exposed Shinmorchan and Su Wan for who they really are. Yuyen handled that perfectly. I would have done the same thing, maybe even gone further. That Su Wan is a professional homewrecker. She got what she deserved by killing herself. Shinmorchan is such a scumbag. You're better off without a man like that. Reading the online comments finally let me breathe a sigh of relief. But I knew this was only the beginning. The real battle hasn't even started yet. Sure enough, Shinmorchan held a press conference the very next day in an attempt to defend himself. I admit I made mistakes in handling emotional matters, but I never intended to hurt Yu Yang, Shinmorchan said on stage, looking haggard. Our issues should have been resolved privately, not escalated to this extent. As for Su Wan, she is still in the hospital and her mental state is very unstable. I hope everyone can show her some tolerance and understanding. Finally, I want to say to Yu Yang, no matter what happens, you are the mother of my child. I hope we can handle this matter calmly for the sake of our child. Shinmorchan's press conference appeared sincere, but it was completely devoid of substance. He neither admitted his mistakes, offered an apology, nor agreed to the divorce. Instead, he insinuated that I was engaging in malicious publicity at Suwan's expense. Watching his press conference left me shaking with rage. This man is still putting on an act. Just then, the lawyer called. Miss Lin, I've just received word that Shinmorchan is suing you for defamation and intentional invasion of privacy. What? I was taken aback. He's suing me, yes, and he also filed for asset preservation. Freezing some of your accounts. I immediately understood Shinmorchan's plan. He knew he couldn't win the divorce case, so he made a preemptive move by using defamation charges to buy time. Meanwhile, freezing my assets puts financial pressure on me. Does he stand a chance? I asked the lawyer. Legally speaking, his chances aren't great. We have sufficient evidence to prove everything you've said is true, the lawyer analyzed. But this process will drag on for a long time and consume considerable energy and financial resources. I remained silent for a moment before saying, then let's proceed with the lawsuit. I'm not afraid of him. Understood. I'll prepare the defense materials. After hanging up the phone, I felt a wave of exhaustion wash over me. I thought holding a press conference would put an end to this farce, but Shinmorchan had another trick up his sleeve. That man truly never gives up until he gets what he wants. Just then, my mother walked into the room. Yuyen, are you okay? Mom sat beside me, looking at me with concern. Mom, I'm a little tired. I leaned into her embrace. Why do things have to get so complicated? Because some people refuse to admit their mistakes. Mom stroked my hair. But Yuyen, you have to believe that justice will ultimately prevail over evil. I just want a simple life, I said, my voice choked with emotion. Why is that so hard? Because you met the wrong person, Mom said softly. But Yuyen, this isn't your fault. You've already done your best. I nodded, feeling a warmth in my heart. With my family's support, I'm not afraid of anything. The next day, I received another unexpected message. Su Wan has been discharged from the hospital, and she held a press conference together with Shinmorchan. I want to apologize for what has happened recently, Su Wan said, sitting in a wheelchair. Her face pale and looking very frail. I did make some mistakes, but I never intended to break up anyone's family. Mo Chen and I are truly in love, but our relationship was maliciously exposed and taken out of context. She spoke softly, yet every word was clear. I don't want to explain any further. I just hope everyone can give us a chance. As for my suicide attempt, I admit it was a moment of poor judgment, but it's no one else's fault. I was just too fragile. With that, Su Wan began to cry. and Shin Morchin immediately went over to comfort her. The entire scene was captured by the photographers on site. After watching this press conference, I have to admit that Soo Won is quite the actress. She portrayed herself as a woman steadfast in love yet capable of admitting her mistakes, while casting Shin Morchin as a man of unwavering devotion. And once again, I've become the villainous first wife. Just as expected, public opinion online is shifting again. Soo Won looks so pitiful, this must be true love. Why is Lin Yuyen trying to tear apart two people so deeply in love? Lin Yuyen is just throwing her weight around because she's rich and powerful, bullying others. You can't force feelings, so why insist? Reading these comments, I can't help but laugh. These people have all been taken in by Soo Won's acting. They don't know that when Soo Won was the other woman abroad, she also cried these delicate, pitiful tears to manipulate that middle-aged man into buying her houses and cars. But I can't explain any further. The more I explain, the more guilty I'll appear. Since they want to put on this act, let them have their fill of it. The truth will come out eventually. 3 months later, all the lawsuits were settled. Shin Morchin lost his defamation lawsuit against me, as the court ruled that my statements were factual and did not constitute defamation. Meanwhile, my divorce petition was granted. The court ruled in my favor, awarding me custody of our child and ordering Shin Morchin to pay monthly child support. Meanwhile, Shin Morchin's infidelity gave me the upper hand in the property division. Although we had little shared property, every cent he spent on Soo Won using my money must be repaid in full. The day the verdict was announced, I sat outside the courthouse with mixed emotions. I was free. Congratulations, Ms. Lin, the lawyer said as he approached. Thank you. I forced a smile. It's finally over. Yes, you can start a new life now, a new life. I caressed my rounded belly, my heart swelling with anticipation. Despite all the pain I've endured, at least I still have this child. This child is the beacon of my new life. After leaving the courthouse, I didn't return to the Lin residence but drove straight to the seaside. The sea breeze caressed my face, its briny scent evoking childhood memories. Back then, I was a naive little girl filled with rosy illusions about love. Now I've come to see through many things. Love isn't a fairy tale, and marriage is no game. When choosing a partner, you must see their true character and integrity. Superficial looks and sweet talk alone can't sustain a lasting relationship. I took out my phone and deleted all the photos and messages related to Shin Morchin. Let bygones be bygones. Starting today, I'm going to live my best life for myself and my child. She's so beautiful. Just like I was when I was little, watching her sleep peacefully in my arms fills my heart with love and hope. Sweetheart, Mommy will give you the best life, I whispered to her. We're going to be so happy. Shin Morchin came to see the child once, but I refused to let him hold her. Now that he's with Soo Won, he's lost the right to be this child's father. Legally he's still the father, of course, but in my heart he's become a stranger. She looks just like you, Shin Morchin said, gazing at the child with a hint of reluctance in his eyes. She's my daughter, I said flatly. This doesn't concern you. Yuyen, I know I've wronged you, but the child is innocent. I'm not stopping you from fulfilling your paternal duties. I cut him off. Just make the child support payments on time. That's all we need from you. Shin Morchin fell silent for a moment before ultimately turning to leave. After he left, I carried my daughter to the window. Sweetheart, Mommy will make you the happiest child in the world. I kissed her forehead gently. We don't need anyone else. I've completely let go of the past now. What happens between Shin Morchin and Soo Won is none of my concern. All I need to do is focus on raising my daughter, growing my career, and enjoying my life. As for love, if it's meant to be, the right person will come along. If not, I'm perfectly content on my own. After all, I already have the most important thing, my daughter. She means the world to me. I fell silent, and then, why? I asked. He fell silent. With that, I hung up the phone. With that, I hung up the phone. I fell silent. With that, I hung up the phone. Finally, this whole farce was over. 6 months later, I gave birth to a healthy baby girl. Story 2. The year Chen Shubai became the national college entrance exam champion. Peking and Tsinghua universities offered him a couple's admission spot to recruit him. Everyone assumed he'd give that spot to me. But in the end, it was someone else who entered Peking University with him. It was actually the transfer student Xu Jingshu. Peking University is Jingshu's dream. She needs this opportunity more than I do, Chen Shubai said. My grades aren't good enough, going there would just invite criticism. So he helped me apply to an art school in Beijing, and promised, we'll get married after you graduate. But later, I embarked on a journey to study abroad, when we met again. Chen Shubai's eyes welled up at the sight of the ring on my finger. Why, didn't you promise you'd only marry me? 7 years after high school graduation. That was the first time I heard Chen Shubai's name, at an airport in a foreign land. When the girl sitting next to me at the gate glanced my way for the 7th time, she finally couldn't resist calling out tentatively, Peppermint. I looked up instinctively, staring at the unfamiliar face before me. Confusion filled my eyes. Is it really you? Do you remember me? I also went to Yongchuan No. 5 high school. Seeing my response, her face suddenly lit up with joy. Yongchuan No. 5 high school was my alma mater. She was my classmate from the same graduating year. She mentioned we'd rehearsed performances together during the school anniversary celebration. That figures. She tried so hard to jog my memory of her. But my high school days feel like ancient history now. Many familiar names and faces have faded into obscurity. No matter how hard I rack my brain, still couldn't recognize each other. But she wasn't embarrassed. Instead she said, it's fine if you don't remember me. Do you recall Chen Shubai? Chen Shubai. The moment I heard that name, my expression and gaze shifted instantly. It was so obvious they noticed immediately. She continued, back then, you two were the golden couple of the whole school, when Chen Shubai topped the national exams. Both Tsinghua and Peking University created an extra admission spot just to recruit him. They even promised to accept his girlfriend too. So tell me, did you end up going to Peking University with Chen Shubai? Have you graduated yet? Are you married now, or are you traveling for work? She kept chattering away, firing off 4 or 5 questions in rapid succession. Truth be told, I didn't catch a single word. My mind was flooded with memories triggered by that name. I was at a loss for how to respond to the enthusiastic alumni. Fortunately, the airport announcement for my flight came through just then. I hastily stood up. Sorry, I need to board now. They were caught completely off guard, could only stare at me in utter confusion. Yet my heart remained unsettled even after walking away, right where I was seated. The plan to sleep through these 7 long hours of flight suddenly felt heavier, the moment I closed my eyes. The name Chen Shubai kept echoing in my mind. He was like a sealed incantation. At the mere mention, memories of him slipped away like desert sands, endless as the tides. Chen Shubai is my childhood sweetheart. He's also the first prodigy student in Yongchuan No. 5 high school's history. During 3 years of high school, he won over 20 awards for our school. 7 years ago during the national college entrance exams, scored a near-perfect 748 points, topping the national rankings. Both Tsinghua and Peking University were scrambling to recruit overnight. Just like that girl said, to persuade him to attend their institution. Both elite universities offered irresistible incentives, and made this promise to him. Chen Shubai could bring any one person to be admitted alongside him to Tsinghua or Peking University. Before Chen Shubai could even speak that year, congratulations were already whispered in my ear. After all, the whole grade knew about us. Chen Shubai and I grew up together. Inseparable since childhood, but now, I recall that girl's look of excitement and envy. A tinge of surprise and mockery crept into my heart. So this is how things stand today. Some people still don't know. The truth is, I wasn't the one who went to college with Chen Shubai back then. 7 hours. I spent 6.5 hours in complete daze. It wasn't until after disembarking that the call came through. My thoughts were completely overtaken by another person's voice. Only then did things feel slightly better. Hello, you there yet? Yeah, just landed. What's wrong? You sound off. They only heard 5 words from me. Sensed something was off. I couldn't help but marvel at Chu Yang's sharp instincts. Yet I didn't want to tell him what happened before boarding. No need to stir up unnecessary trouble. It's nothing. Just a long flight. You should head back to the hotel and get some proper rest. Alright, I hung up and boarded the hotel shuttle. Jet lag hit me harder than I expected, exhausted to the bone, yet sleep eluded me the moment I closed my eyes. Finally managed to adjust. Out of the blue, I got a call from Bai Wei, our high school class monitor. Peppermint, you're back in the country and didn't even tell me. She was thrilled. I was rather surprised. How did you know? Of course I saw it in our high school group chat. I haven't logged into my old QQ account in ages. It took me forever to recall that password. Before graduation, alumni from our class set up a school group chat. It was quite lively at first, but as time went by, the group chat had been silent for years. Then just 2 days ago, someone posted a photo of me in the group. OMG. I just ran into our classes prom queen at an international airport. I wasn't sure it was her at first, only when I called her name did I know for certain. She's so stunningly beautiful, tall, and sophisticated. I could barely breathe. It was a side profile of me sitting in a chair with my eyes softly closed. I instantly recognized the background as the airport where I boarded my flight days ago. No need to guess. The person who sent the message and took the photo, it's that alumnus I met the other day. The group chat lit up because of this photo I shared. Is that really her? How hasn't she changed at all? Is she alone? Where's Chen Shubai? Didn't he come with her? I scrolled down a few posts. Then I saw Chen Shubai's name again. Just like old times, whenever either of us is mentioned, the other's name inevitably follows, inseparable as shadows, unforgettable to the bone. For, no, she came alone. The girl who posted the photo replied. Some were confused, others puzzled. Until someone dropped the bombshell. Didn't you know? Chen Shubai and Bohe broke up right after the college entrance exams. The long dormant group chat just exploded again. What's going on? Breakup. Chen Shubai adores Bohe so much. How could he possibly break up with her? Circling around this topic, the group chat buzzed with nearly 1,000 gossip messages. As for me, the moment I saw the first one, I'd already lost all interest in scrolling further. Bai Wei kept chattering away on the other end of the line. She asked which city I was currently in. I didn't hold back and told her the truth. Hearing this, she got even more excited. What a coincidence. I'm in Beijing too. We've got to meet up. Let's grab a meal together. Back in high school, I got along pretty well with Bai Wei. After going abroad, she's the only classmate I've kept in touch with. I didn't refuse, just nodded in agreement, and that simple nod changed everything. There he stood, Chen Shubai, the man who'd returned mere days ago and already turned my world upside down. 5. To be honest, I was caught off guard. It never crossed my mind. Chen Shubai's friend gathering would be at the same venue. I'd just met Bai Wei then. She was just as excitable as she'd sounded on the phone. After hugging me tightly, she said, "Oh my God, I've missed you so much." She's still as cheerful and lively as she was in high school. Linking arms with me affectionately, we walked and talked. She talked quite a bit, and I just listened quietly, until she mentioned, "You have no idea how heartbroken our homeroom teacher was when you turned down Tsinghua. You've been abroad for years. Yet he still keeps telling stories about you to every new class. Oh come on, it's just Chen Shubai. Why go through all this trouble for him?" Her voice trailed off abruptly. Her footsteps came to a sudden stop. I was still lost in my own thoughts. The sudden silence made me realize something. I looked up, and there it was. The person before me took me by surprise. Chen Shubai. 7 years have passed. My first meeting with Chen Shubai, years of solitary growth after our separation. I've imagined this countless times. What would Chen Shubai look like when he grew up? And now, the person standing before me, is merging with the image in my memory. White shirt with black trousers, cool yet striking eyes, shed the youthful awkwardness of high school days, though lacking that boyish vigor of yesteryears, yet carries a more composed demeanor now. The only constant remains that innate air of aloofness. I always thought Chen Shubai resembled a distant, indifferent star. Looking back now, I noticed his aloofness had grown even more pronounced. Bai Wei glanced at me, then at him, the passageway that should have been spacious. This sudden encounter left the air thick with an inexplicable stillness. The space suddenly felt constricting. But soon, someone shattered that tension. "Shubai, everyone's here waiting for you." A clear, gentle woman's voice came from behind Chen Shubai. He walked straight toward Chen Shubai. Only when noticing his odd behavior did their gaze follow. The moment their eyes met, I saw shock reflected in their eyes. Her lips quivered slightly before she finally uttered my name. Peppermint. I caught the tremor of unease in her voice. There was no need for her to be this nervous. After all, she was the one who came out on top, while I was the one who fled in disgrace. In that moment, a thought flashed through my mind. If only that schoolmate at the airport were still here. I can tell her. Truth is, I wasn't the one who went to Peking University with Chen Shubai back then. It was her, Xu Jingshu, 7, before I turned 17. How close are Chen Shubai and I? Everyone who knows us can tell. Wherever Chen Shubai goes, I'll be there. Chen Shubai and me, our fates were intertwined from the moment we were born. We share the exact same birthday. We've been inseparable since kindergarten. Chen Shubai always saves his first candy for me. He fought my first schoolyard brawl for me, even my first period. Chen Shubai personally bought my sanitary pads. Before I turned 17, Chen Shubai has never missed a single chapter of my life. We were that close, so much so that everyone took it for granted. We'd end up being each other's better half. I thought so too. But then in sophomore year, Xu Jingshu appeared. She was a transfer student from a small town. She transferred into Chen Shubai's elite class. That was the first time I heard her name. It happened during our midterm exams in sophomore year. This unassuming transfer student ranked second in the entire school, just 1 point shy of Chen Shubai, the top scorer in the entire school. Damn, I almost caught up to your Chen Shubai. Bai Wei was sucking on a lollipop at the time, staring at the two closely ranked names on the scoreboard. She clicked her tongue in amazement. I didn't think much of it at the time. Don't worry, Chen Shubai is way out of her league. Only later did I realize, it wasn't that kind of pursuit, and I was terribly mistaken. 8. I can't recall when it started. Xu Jingshu became the inevitable topic whenever Chen Shubai and I talked. It was also Xu Jingshu who solved the math problem that had long stumped Chen Shubai. Perhaps it was the first time she outperformed Chen Shubai in an exam, or maybe it was their first competition together. They were fierce rivals, yet worked in perfect sync. They swept the top 2 spots, bringing honor to their school. The congratulatory banner for the couple hung across the academic building for half a month. I used to pay no mind to it. Xu Jingshu, whom I'd never given a second glance, she's gradually taking over the place I once held in Chen Shubai's heart. Until the year of the college entrance exams, Chen Shubai said to me, "Bohi, I want to get into Peking University," even though we'd already argued several times over Xu Jingshu by then. Back then, we were still in the midst of the Cold War, but I still supported him. Alright then, go for it. Only later did I find out, Peking University was never his dream, it was Xu Jingshu's. On the day he secured an extra admission slot at Tsinghua or Peking University, he told me in person, "Peppermint, Baidar is Jingshu's dream. She needs this opportunity more than you do, let her have it." 9. Now I watch Chen Shubai and Xu Jingshu standing side by side. There's an undeniable intellectual synergy between them. Unlike 7 years ago, they seem to have developed a deeper understanding between them, especially Xu Jingshu. The moment our eyes met, she suddenly reached out and took Chen Shubai's arm. "Peppermint, you're back. Why didn't you tell us?" The unease in her eyes had faded, an unfamiliar mix of formality and pride. With a subtle undercurrent of territorial claim, "I've been abroad these years, not completely out of touch though. During my first couple years overseas, news about Chen Shubai and Xu Jingshu still reached me. They both got into Peking University together, enrolled in the same major and joined the same research lab. They continued their academic excellence from high school, working in perfect sync within their field. They won numerous awards and secured direct admission to graduate and doctoral programs. People say they're kindred spirits, a perfect match of talent and beauty, a truly well-matched pair of gifted scholars. How ironic, that's exactly how people used to describe Chen Shubai and me. Everything changed to unfamiliar surroundings and faces. After I was no longer by Chen Shubai's side, there was someone else who truly matched and understood him. I couldn't help but recall what Xu Jingshu once told me. "You're just privileged by birth, lucky enough to grow up with Chen Shubai, but if you were in my shoes, it might not be you standing by his side." Back then I scoffed at the idea, now it seems different. What she said was absolutely true. 10. Bai Wei was among the few who truly knew and understood the details of my breakup with Chen Shubai. She had no fondness for Chen Shubai. The same went for Xu Jingshu. Bai Wei took my hand in hers. "Who are you? Since when are you and Bohi so close that she'd confide in you?" Xu Jingshu's expression froze. She looked helplessly at Chen Shubai, as if hoping he would act like he had so many times before, speaking up to defend himself. From the very moment they met, Chen Shubai seemed utterly lifeless. He stood frozen in place. yet his gaze remained stubbornly fixed on me. Bai Wei rolled her eyes. Taking my hand, she turned away. Let's go find another place. She seemed even more reluctant than me to see Chen Shubai, but Chen Shubai turned out to be more persistent and troublesome than we'd imagined. After we left, Chen Shubai followed closely behind. He parked his car by the roadside while Bai Wei and I were having dinner. That's why I recognized it was his at first glance. The license plate number looked familiar. It was our birth dates. Through the windshield, I finally spotted him in the driver's seat, yet he made no move to approach me. Sitting perfectly still, like a sculpture gazing with quiet longing, I frowned. Then came the journey back to the hotel. Chen Shubai followed close behind me. After arriving at the destination, I finally couldn't hold back and got out of the car, walked up to the driver's side window, knock on the glass. Chen Shubai, don't you know stalking is illegal? The car window rolled down. Chen Shubai looked up. Only then did I notice his bloodshot, restrained eyes glistening with unshed tears. Shia Bohi. You're absolutely heartless. Chen Shubai was crying. 12. I remembered back in middle school, when some creep took upskirt photos of me. Chen Shubai was so furious he went to confront them for me. That was his first fight ever. No technique whatsoever, just brute strength. He beat the guy so badly he ended up in the hospital. The boy's parents showed up at the door, demanding Chen Shubai receive a major disciplinary mark, facing the teacher's demand for an apology. Chen Shubai was more stubborn than anyone. I won't apologize. If anyone dares to bully Bohi, I'll make them pay. That day, Uncle Chen beat him so badly he couldn't get up. I went to see him. The moment I saw him lying face down on the bed, tears started streaming down my face. Chen Shubai's heart ached for me as he wiped away my tears and comforted me. What are you crying for? Does it hurt? It doesn't hurt. Liar. I could clearly see him trembling in pain, back then. Chen Shubai never shed a tear no matter how much it hurt, but now, he tilted his head slightly upward. The moment our eyes met upon reunion, tears began to fall. Tears trickled slowly from the corners of Chen Shubai's eyes. He looked utterly wronged. His nose, eyes, even his ears were flushed red. He called me heartless. I can't believe I actually went 7 whole years without contacting him. Indeed, who would have thought that someone who used to get anxious after just 1 day apart from Chen Shubai could now endure not seeing him for 7 long years. Back then, I resolutely set out on my journey to study abroad. Everyone thought I was just being petty. No one believed me, that I could truly let go of 18 inseparable years with Chen Shubai. Not even Chen Shubai himself believed it. He came to me saying he'd help me fill out my college applications. I've picked out several art schools for you, all located in Beijing. Peppermint, don't be mad, we can still make this work. By then, he'd already given the spot to Xu Jingshu. Those who once congratulated me fell silent. Their gazes and attitudes shifted to pity and regret. Chen Shubai held me in his arms. He made me a promise. Let's get married after you graduate. Okay, he knows exactly what matters to me. I can't live without Chen Shubai, because I'm truly crazy about him. I'm even certain he's the only one I'll ever love in this lifetime. It was true 18 years ago. And it still holds true today, but turns out childhood crushes don't last a lifetime after all. I silently stared at Chen Shubai. If only it were in the distant past. He stared at me and said those words. It must have broken my heart. But now, my heart is calm as still water. I don't even want to reminisce about the past or argue over old grievances with him here and now. I signaled for the hotel security, warned him. This guy's been tailing me the whole way. Keep an eye out. The guard's expression shifted from confusion to alertness, kept a wary eye on Chen Shubai. I turned and walked toward the hotel lobby. 13. 2 days later, I returned to my high school alma mater to visit my homeroom teacher. My teacher was absolutely delighted to see me. She held my hand and talked at length, eyes brimming with tenderness and nostalgia. How are you doing these days? Still keeping up with your painting? During my first year of high school, my grades were inconsistent. My family was terribly anxious, fearing I might not advance to the next grade. It was the newly transferred homeroom teacher who discovered my artistic talent. I possess perfect pitch for color and exceptional spatial imagination. She strongly encouraged me to pursue an artistic path. In the end, I embarked on this journey of learning to paint. She looked after me a great deal during those 3 years of high school. even when I went abroad to study and search for art schools. She was the one who made it all possible behind the scenes. Back when Chen Shubai and I broke up, she was genuinely concerned I'd be heartbroken, never to pick up a paintbrush again. I'm here, teacher, I never stopped. She's the person I'm most grateful to. This time when I returned, I had a special surprise prepared for her. Professor, I've come back this time at Tsinghua University's invitation to hold my solo exhibition. I handed the invitation from my bag to her. Our homeroom teacher's expression shifted from confusion to utter astonishment. Tsinghua, a solo exhibition. Her hands trembled slightly as she clutched the invitation. Her gaze shifted from shock to quiet pride. Slowly, a mist began to veil her eyes as she looked at me. I knew it, I just knew it. Bohi, you're truly gifted, my most brilliant student. When you stood up for Chen Shubai back then, I was so worried. Something stirred deep in my heart. Professor, my homeroom teacher wiped her eyes, gazing at me with overwhelming emotion. I was so worried when you turned down Kaffa and Tsinghua. Thank goodness, thank goodness. The more she wiped her tears, the more they fell. I could feel my own eyes welling up too. You'll always be my mentor. I had a long, heartfelt conversation with my old teacher. She promised she'd definitely come to see my exhibition. Before I left, she couldn't help saying, Mint, your art style has gained more brightness compared to before. I understand what she's trying to say. A faint smile appeared. Teacher, just as you thought. The homeroom teacher nodded slightly upon getting the answer. She gazed at me with the same gentle, maternal warmth as she had years ago. Congratulations, and all the best to you. I will. 14. After the visit concluded, I returned to the hotel. The security guard spotted me and suddenly approached. That friend of yours is here again. Friend. Puzzled, I followed his gaze. There's Chen Shubai's car again. This time my frown deepened more than the past few days. The security guard sighed. He's been coming every day recently, just waiting here without saying a word. The guard had questioned him once before, but Chen Shubai showed our old photos. It showed he meant no harm. The security watched him for 2 days and found nothing suspicious. Chen Shubai neither asked questions nor made any moves. He waits here religiously every single night. Leaves during the day, probably heads back to campus for lab work. Are you two having some sort of disagreement? The other party inquired tactfully. I shook my head. I'm not close with him, but I've seen him watching over you for days, and today he seemed off somehow. He told me. I froze for a second. Looking outside, my eyes accidentally met Chen Shubai's gaze. Honestly, compared to the past couple days, he looked noticeably pale with this heat wave. Even the security guards were worried something might happen to him and asked me, maybe we should call the police. I was about to nod. Suddenly, someone stepped out of an approaching car. It was Xu Jingshu. She rushed frantically towards Chen Shubai, yanked open the car door. No one knew what she said to him. Xu Jingshu's gaze shifted their way, eyes burning with indignation. I averted my gaze. No need. The one who'll take him away has arrived. 15. I didn't give Chen Shubai's matter much thought. Never mind that so many years have passed. There's no point discussing this further. The sole purpose of this trip back home is to hold my art exhibition. This marks my debut exhibition in the country. I can't afford any mishaps, so until the art exhibition concludes, I don't want to divert too much energy to other matters, but I never expected that my reunion with Chen Shubai would actually have a sequel. Chen Shubai fell ill. He's been quite the campus celebrity these years. His sudden illness naturally drew everyone's concern. Many were asking what happened. Walls have ears. No one knows where the rumor started. They're saying Chen Shubai fell ill because of me. Poor Chen Shubai, always getting dragged into her mess. Who forgot how Xia Bohi is Chen Shubai's Achilles heel? Remember how he got into fights for her back then? Not to be harsh, but they've been broken up for ages. Why's Chen Shubai still chasing after her? He's still head over heels. Chen's crazy about Bohi. When she left for abroad without a word, it nearly destroyed him. Exactly, now that she's back, he's been camped outside her place for nights, terrified she'll disappear again. The long-dormant alumni group suddenly came alive because of what happened between me and Chen Shubai. Clearly everyone's got too much time on their hands, like they're binge-watching some juicy drama unfold. Someone in the group keeps dropping little bombshells almost daily. Let me tell you how close Chen Shubai and I used to be. Then explain how Chen Shubai became a complete wreck and lost all motivation after I went abroad. One last question, what's she back for this time? Surely not because of Chen Shubai. When these rumors reached my ears, the preliminary preparations for the art exhibition were nearing completion. At the same time, I received a call from Chu Yang. He routinely asked me about the progress of the art exhibition. After hearing me say it was going fine, his voice carried an apologetic tone. Sorry, I can't join you this time. I could hear the frustration and disappointment in his voice. With a resigned smile, I reminded him, Mr. Chu, we're only apart for 2 weeks, but 2 weeks feels like forever. Chu Yang said plaintively, I miss you so much, we've never been apart for this long before. That's true, when I was organizing exhibitions abroad before, he would always make time to be with me, but this time the distance was too great, and he's swamped with work. That's why I came back alone. I reassured him, I'll come straight back after the exhibition ends. Alright, I'll pick you up. That phone call instantly lifted my spirits, but the good mood didn't last long. Soon after, a mutual friend of Chen Shubai and me sent a message. Bohi, heard you're back in town. Shubai's fallen ill, could you come see him? I frowned. Can't is already being typed. The other person continued, even after 7 years apart, you don't have to cut all ties completely. 16. Not to that extent. After some thought, I ended up buying a bouquet and heading to the hospital. Chen Subai's hospital room was easy to find. Just before knocking, I heard Xu Jingshu's voice. How much longer are you going to keep torturing yourself for her? She doesn't even care about you. You've been sick for days. Has she even come to see you? None of your business. Chen Shubai's voice was icy. Xu Jingshu burned with anger. Until the sound of my knocking echoed, she turned and frowned at the sight of me. Summer Mint, what are you doing here? Chen Shubai froze, then abruptly raised his eyes. There were other people in the ward. I didn't recognize them. Probably people from Chen Shubai's lab. Hearing Xu Jingshu's words, they all turned their gaze toward me. Is she the Mint Senior Chen kept mentioning? Yes, she's the one who made Senior Chen fall ill. I ignored the probing stares from the crowd. Stepping into the ward, I placed the flowers on the table. I heard you were sick, so I came to check on you. That friend was right. Chen Shubai and I haven't reached the point of cutting all ties. After all, we grew up together. I've already let go of what happened back then, and I've moved on with my life. There's no point dwelling on explanations. Staying friends would be ideal, but if not, I have no regrets. This trip today, it's like settling unfinished business from our childhood. 17. That's how I see it, but Chen Shubai doesn't. As I approached and spoke, his dark, calm eyes instantly brightened. Peppermint. Chen Shubai called my name. It suddenly occurred to me there were outsiders present. You all should leave first. The visitors turned to leave, but Xu Jingshu remained where she stood. Chen Shubai said to Xu Jingshu, you too, out. Xu Jingshu froze momentarily after looking at Chen Shubai. She glanced at me once more. I saw her press her lips together, resentment flashing in her eyes. The ward quickly fell silent. This was the first time in 7 years I'd been alone with Chen Shubai. Two people who once shared everything now sat in awkward silence. Chen Shubai gestured for me to sit. I remained standing, watching him from a meter away by his hospital bed. Chen Shubai, don't get the wrong idea, I just came to check on you. Now that I see you're alright, I'll take my leave. I turned and walked away. Peppermint, Chen Shubai suddenly called out to me. I turned around and saw his gaunt, pale face. You're still mad at me, aren't you? What I said that day was a lie. You're not cruel. I just missed you so much. Chen Shubai's voice was hoarse. His eyes reddened again. 7 years. Not a single day passed without me thinking of you. You can't imagine how overjoyed I was when I heard you'd returned. That airport waiting photo our alum posted in the group chat. He'd stared at it countless times, zooming in and out repeatedly. Even though he knew it was me, his hands still trembled with excitement. Until that fateful encounter, the heart that had been hanging in midair finally settled. He had so much to tell me. He kept watch over my hotel, double-checking everything again and again. I'm really back. I even got out of the car and talked to him right here. I used to be the one who did all the talking with Chen Shubai. This was the first time it was the other way around. Chen Shubai wouldn't stop talking. If it were my 17-year-old self, I'd be over the moon with joy. But now, after hearing Chen Shubai say I miss you countless times, My heart remains completely unmoved. Chen Shubai. Camping outside my hotel for nights without sleep, that's stalking, not devotion. Also, I don't miss you, I'm doing perfectly fine now. This trip back home is strictly business. Running into you was pure coincidence. If possible, I'd rather not see him at all. I was being brutally cold. Chen Shubai's previously radiant expression instantly darkened and stiffened. He stared at me with unsettling intensity. You seem determined to find proof of my lies in my eyes. Pity you won't, I've got nothing to hide. It's getting late, I should head out. Oh, and about those group messages, I expect you to set the record straight. With that, I turned and walked away. Chen Shubai's voice suddenly rang out behind me. I don't believe it, Shia Bohi. I refuse to believe this. If you truly felt nothing for me, you wouldn't have come back. Chen Shubai prided himself on knowing me inside out, but this time, all I felt was, he was being utterly incomprehensible. 18. Shortly after leaving the ward, someone called me back. Summer Mint. Xu Jingshu walked straight toward me. Her expression was cold and stern. Talk. I looked at her in confusion. After all, Xu Jingshu and I aren't even on nodding terms. We've bumped into each other a few times since I returned, but we've never actually exchanged a single word. Honestly, I can't imagine what we'd even talk about, except Chen Shubai. Just as I thought, just as I expected. Xu Jingshu came here solely for Chen Shubai. You've been avoiding Chen Shubai all this time, yet now you're deliberately showing up here. Xia Bohi, what exactly are you playing at? Wonder what got Jingshu Shu so worked up. She immediately started firing accusations at me. I was completely baffled. Didn't we just go over this? I just came to visit Chen Shubai. You haven't contacted Chen Shubai for 7 years. And now you're back causing such a scene. How did I never realize before that you could be so calculating? But Xu Jingshu is just like Chen Shubai. Nobody believes what I say. Her expression was icy, with no warmth in her eyes. I see. Xu Jingshu also saw the messages in the group. She thought I was playing hard to get, all for Chen Shubai's attention. I caught the glimmer of scrutiny and hostility in Xu Jingshu's eyes. This version of her was nothing like the cautious girl I remembered from high school. 19. During Xu Jingshu's high school years, she was quiet and rarely engaged in conversations. Except with Chen Shubai, she could always connect with him when tackling exam questions or competition problems. She speaks with effortless eloquence, exuding quiet confidence. Everyone says she's full of contradictions, but after several encounters with her, Xu Jingshu left me with an unsettling impression. When she found out I was an art student, she'd ask me all sorts of questions right in front of Chen Shubai. I thought she was just curious or genuinely interested, so I answered patiently, but Xu Jingshu said, I really envy you art students. You're so lucky, just needing minimal scores to get into college, unlike us. Sensing her misunderstanding, I tried to explain, that's not true. We have to put in just as much effort. Even so, you still have the option of pursuing arts. Most kids from average families can't afford art classes, they have to rely on academics. I said, not necessarily. Look at Chen Shubai, he's doing great without studying arts. But plenty of wealthy kids don't even need to take college entrance exams. Their parents would send them to study art, then gild their resumes abroad, just like you. Isn't that right? Xu Jingshu retorted. I couldn't grasp what she was implying. But the topic made me uneasy. I never planned to study abroad. Chen Shubai and I made a promise to attend university together. Besides, our homeroom teacher said so back then. I'm hardworking and talented, I just need to stay committed. Getting into top art academies won't be a problem. But I shared these thoughts with Xu Jingshu, yet she didn't seem pleased. I see, you and Chen Shubai must be really close then. But do you really stand a chance at getting into Chen Shubai's dream university? All the art teachers say the same thing, how else would you art students keep going? It's like how even struggling students need encouragement, Xu Jingshu murmured. A practiced smile played on her lips, not a trace of emotion in those eyes. I didn't understand back then why Xu Jingshu held such prejudice against art students. Only later did I find out. It's not that she's prejudiced against art students, she's prejudiced against me specifically. And prejudice breeds malice. Throughout my senior year of high school, her subtle malice was everywhere, like a venomous snake lurking in the shadows, ever ready to strike when the moment comes. In the end, it dealt me the fatal blow, And all of this, it's all because of Chen Shubai, 20. If you left, why did you have to come back? Do you have any idea what Shubai has been through these 7 years? Xu Jingshu demanded furiously. She said, during the 7 years I was away, Chen Shubai lived like a puppet. There was an accident in the lab once. Chen Shubai was injured and spent 3 days in the ICU. He lost half his life force, remaining unconscious the whole time, yet he kept murmuring my name. In the end, it took everyone shouting relentlessly at his bedside to finally wake Chen Shubai. I was the one who stood by Chen Shubai during his darkest days. How dare you waltz back in and steal all his attention? Are you trying to get him killed? Xu Jingshu glared at me with fury. It was obvious she was deeply infatuated with Chen Shubai. These past few days, the group chat's been talking about nothing but me. Xu Jingshu will be mentioned again. To everyone, she was that unwavering, silently devoted presence. I listened to Xu Jingshu's words, didn't know whether to be angry or amused. Perhaps the mockery in my eyes was too obvious. Xu Jingshu grew even angrier. What are you laughing at, Xu Jingshu? Isn't this exactly what you wanted? Yet you failed, and now you're blaming me. Xu Jingshu's furious expression froze like a rigid mask. 21. I met her gaze with icy detachment. To this day, I still remember Xu Jingshu's words to me. You're just coasting on your privileged upbringing and the dumb luck of growing up with Chen Shubai. But if you were in my place, the one standing by his side might not be you. It was during senior year that I realized Xu Jingshu had feelings for Chen Shubai. Back then, Chen Shubai lost a notebook. Nothing particularly important anyway. Chen Shubai had scribbled countless Chen Shubai will always be with Xiaobohi across the pages. Later, I found this notebook at Xu Jingshu's place. Nothing had changed, except for one thing. My name had been violently crossed out. She replaced it with her own name, Xu Jingshu. After I caught her, Xu Jingshu no longer bothered to hide her hostility toward me. She said, just give me time by Chen Shubai's side, and he'll fall for me too. So she'd long made up her mind to apply to the same university as Chen Shubai. But after learning about my agreement with Chen Shubai, 3 months before the college entrance exams, she broke her leg. To this day, I still don't know if it was intentional or accidental. That's all I know. After that, Chen Shubai, fearing Xu Jingshu might fail the college entrance exams, tutored her frequently. On countless nights when Xu Jingshu texted him in tears about possibly failing the exams, he stayed up comforting her until dawn. Finally, the college entrance exams came to an end. Xu Jingshu missed Peking University by just 1 point. She broke down in tears. Everyone felt sorry for her, including Chen Shubai. It was that same night, Chen Shubai said to me, Bohi, Xu Jingshu needs this opportunity more than you do. It's not like I hadn't told Chen Shubai about the suspicious aspects of this matter. Back then, Chen Shubai only had eyes for Xu Jingshu. He even told me, with your poor grades, you'd just be inviting gossip if you went. Chen Shubai and I grew up together. Never had he spoken to me like that before. At that moment, I knew Xu Jingshu had one. I chose to study abroad, vowing to sever all ties with Chen Shubai. As for getting into Tsinghua University, I never told a soul. 22. Were we wrong? Giving that spot to you was a complete waste. So you came back just to rub in my face that Chen Shubai still can't forget you. Xu Jingshu flushed with humiliated anger. I realized both Chen Shubai and Xu Jingshu had misunderstood my reason for returning. It's not just them. Many people are. It's not that I don't want to explain, because soon enough, they'll all find out. That evening, my homeroom teacher posted a moment on WeChat. A mutual student screenshot it and shared it in the group chat. It immediately caused a huge uproar. The teacher's caption read, "Congratulations to my student. 7 years ago, I deeply regretted your decision to turn down Tsinghua. Today, as a rising star in the art world invited to exhibit at Tsinghua, I couldn't be prouder of you." She included photos of the invitation letter and one of my exhibition posters. The poster features my name, photo, and signature works. Some people don't understand art, yet they instantly recognized me in the photograph. Our high school homeroom teacher posted, "Is this mint sheer?" So she came back to host an exhibition. That's seriously impressive. Right, I remember she studied fine arts in high school. Wait, what? Didn't people say she only went into arts because of poor grades and failed college entrance? Now they're claiming she turned down Tsinghua. This single screenshot unleashed a flood of revelations. Busybodies have already started Googling my name, trying to verify the truth for themselves. After days of gossiping about my romantic history with Chen Shubai, they've finally turned their attention to my 7 years abroad. It's true, Shia Bohi graduated from one of the world's top art academies. Just 2 years ago, one of her paintings sold for $1 million. On top of that, she's got hundreds of thousands of followers on international platforms. She's been featured in numerous art publications. You liberal arts students probably didn't know this, but Shia Bohi was the most talented art student in our graduating class. She aced the joint entrance exams for all 4 major art academies back then. Her Gaokao scores were impressive too, good enough for Tsinghua University. Out of nowhere, a fellow art student from our year finally spoke up. Back then, art students and regular academic students had classes in separate buildings. This created a complete information barrier between the two groups. At that time, Chen Shubai simply assumed I'd scored above the first-tier university cutoff. Little did I know, those scores were already enough for me to stand equal with him and attend the same school. 23. Xu Jingshu turned pale the moment she saw these messages. Rumor has it she even went to consult her former homeroom teacher, the me she once dismissed as worthless, yet shone brilliantly in another field all along. After receiving the confirmed news, she fell into rare silence for days. Bai Wei told me that Xu Jingshu used to be quite active on social media. She'd frequently post award photos of herself and Chen Shubai. Hey, didn't she low-key shade you about not getting into college back then? Bai Wei casually brought it up. My art exhibition has been open for 2 days now. She just heard about me from our old homeroom teacher, managed to order congratulatory flowers for me before the exhibition opened, wishing me a successful show. I don't know, I forgot. I shook my head. Bai Wei didn't dwell on that answer. She was preoccupied with something else. Bohi, has Chen Shubai not come looking for you? I didn't even get a chance to respond. Speak of the devil and he shall appear. Chen Shubai arrived. I spotted him right at the exhibition hall entrance. Compared to our first reunion, he was gaunt and deathly pale. He stood motionless before my exhibition poster for what felt like an eternity. Like a desiccated statue, he stood there so long that the staff started noticing him. Why isn't he coming in? Bai Wei looked puzzled. I said flatly, probably doesn't care for my paintings. Once upon a time, Chen Shubai stopped paying attention to my paintings. He never knew which of my works showed improvement, which painting won awards. I have no idea. Back then, I worked really hard just to get into the same university as him. I put in an incredible amount of effort. 24. A week later, my art exhibition concluded successfully. Thanks to old band's promotion on social media, I reunited with several old friends during the exhibition. On the closing day, someone reached out to inquire, Mint. The exhibition's over. Are you going abroad? Yeah, my flight's the day after tomorrow. Will you be coming back? We'll see. Let's have dinner together tomorrow. Who knows when we'll get to see each other again. There was an unexpected sadness in those last words. After a moment's thought, I nodded in agreement. After sending Chu Yang my flight details, the next day, I went to the banquet. Inside the private room, not only did I see some old friends, Xu Jingshu was there too. Seeing her, I instinctively frowned. The friend who organized the gathering noticed me freezing, immediately came over to greet me. Peppermint, after all these years, you haven't changed a bit. They exchanged pleasantries. The conversation naturally flowed into discussing my art exhibition. Out of politeness and childhood camaraderie, I responded selectively, while trying hard to ignore Xu Jingshu's constant presence, but I soon realized they'd inevitably steer conversations toward Chen Shubai. Something felt off. I cut them off. Just say what's on your mind. The group froze in surprise. Then someone spoke up. Bohi, could you go check on Shubai, Chen Shubai? What's he done this time? After hearing their explanations, only then did I understand. It turned out that after Chen Shubai returned from the art exhibition that day, he became completely distraught. He couldn't even focus on his experiments, let alone bring himself to step outside. It feels like I've been transported back to when I first went abroad. We know you're still upset about what happened back then, but we've been friends since childhood, and you and Chen Shubai were so close. Seeing you two like this now really pains us, a friend said with heartfelt concern. He was also the one who previously asked me to visit Chen Shubai, But, again and again, time after time, I'm already feeling repulsed. I'm not angry. Who could stay mad at someone for 7 whole years? I feel nothing for Chen Shubai anymore. You've got the wrong person. I'm nobody to Chen Shubai. Don't bring his matters to me again. I stood up to leave. Suddenly, the silent Xu Jingshu erupted in anger. Xia Bohi, must you be so cruel? 7 years of punishment isn't enough. Will you only be satisfied when he's dead? Xu Jingshu's shout startled me. I turned around and looked at everyone. They responded to Xu Jingshu's words with silence. In an instant, suddenly everything became clear. I came to this meeting clinging to the remnants of our youthful affection, yet over these 7 years, they had already taken Xu Jingshu and Chen Shubai's side. 25. Bohi, we mean no harm, we just can't bear to see Shubai suffering like this. If there were any other way, we wouldn't have asked you to come. Do you have any idea what Shubai has been through these 7 years? If it weren't for Jingshu staying by his side all this time, you might not even be seeing him alive today. Shubai truly loves you. All these years, he's been waiting for you. The crowd kept chiming in from all sides. Her words mirrored those chat records from the group those past few days. Xu Jingshu had already begun crying. Tears streamed down her face one after another. Accusations, reproaches, pleas. A whirlwind of emotions swirled in her eyes. Xu Jingshu said, Xia Bohi, if you won't care for Chen Shubai, I will. You win. Consider this my plea. Go talk some sense into him. From now on, I won't interfere with you two ever again. My head was pounding from listening. My mind was completely consumed by the name Chen Shubai. And of all times, I received a message from Chu Yang. Got it, babe. Can't wait for you to come home. He even sent a shirtless bathroom mirror selfie showing off his abs. I wanted to laugh, but the current situation made it completely inappropriate. I looked at the crowd and refused coldly. I'm not going. Why not? I'm married. The air suddenly turned deathly still. Everyone's faces went blank with utter bewilderment in that moment. Then, uniformly shifted to complex expressions. Someone's gaze moved to the space behind me. Shubai. I turned my head. My eyes met with Chen Shubai's pale, faltering gaze. 26. I got married 2 years ago. Hardly anyone outside my family knows about this. First, because I was abroad. Second, my husband Chu Yang holds a sensitive position that shouldn't be publicized. But if they dig deeper, they could still find some online traces about my secret marriage. Besides, I'm only staying for 2 weeks this time back home. Except for the people I absolutely must see, I never intended to disclose this matter to anyone, Chen Shubai included. That's one reason, and besides, I don't think we'll meet again. Never expected this. Didn't see this coming before my departure. Those who had been the loudest, begging me to give Chen Shubai a chance, finally shut their mouths. The world fell silent at last, all except Chen Shubai. A sudden realization seemed to dawn on him. His gaze locked onto my fingers with unsettling intensity. There was a faint ring-shaped mark barely visible on the skin. He'd never noticed it before. True to his expectations, I took the ring from my bag and slipped it on. The moment the ring's imprint was concealed, Chen Shubai's tears fell silently. Why, didn't you promise you'd only marry me? Chen Shubai kept repeating himself. He raised his eyes to look at me. His eyes were already glistening and bloodshot. You're lying to me, aren't you? Bohi, say something. Tell me this is all a lie. Chen Shubai's appearance was truly heartrending. No one spoke. I remained silent too. Yes, I did say that, but that was a childhood promise. Just like when Chen Shubai wrote in his notebook at 17, Chen Shubai will love Xia Bohi forever and stay with her always. He didn't keep it. Neither could I. Chen Shubai was completely overcome with sobs. His body trembled uncontrollably. The private room had emptied without us noticing. Leaving just the two of us, I felt fingers clutch at my sleeve. He seemed unable to stand, staggering before collapsing to his knees. Peppermint, I regret it. I regret everything. Chen Shubai kept murmuring. I don't know when his remorse began, Chen Shubai said. Had I known it would come to this, I should never have given that extra spot to Xu Jingshu. 27. I let out a sigh. You're wrong, Chen Shubai. I'm not marrying someone to spite you. I simply don't love you anymore. You never knew, did you? I actually came back to China looking for you. Chen Shubai stared at me with bloodshot eyes. Tear-dampened lashes trembled abruptly. I gazed quietly into the depths of his eyes. 3 months after I went abroad, I came to regret it too. How could I possibly let go of 18 years with Chen Shubai so easily? During that time, I was consumed by loneliness and anguish every waking moment. I spent my days drowning in tears. I regret letting momentary anger drive me to move abroad. Longing vines grow rapidly, entangling me. I can't breathe. I wish Chen Shubai would appear by my side someday. The moment I opened my eyes, I found myself in a foreign land among strangers, until one day. I couldn't take it anymore and booked a ticket home. I remember, it was a rainy night. I'd been on that long-haul flight for 7 or 8 hours, hailed a cab through the downpour to Chen Shubai's school, drenched to the bone, but what I saw was him kissing Xu Jingshu in front of the lab building, their bodies pressed together, inseparable. I can barely remember now. Was it the rain that chilled me to the bone, or the coldness in my heart? I only felt myself, from head to toe, frozen solid as if encased in ice. Chen Shubai, you said you missed me, yet in 7 years, you never once reached out, you never asked about my life abroad, not even the slightest curiosity, nor did you ever cross oceans to find me, like I did for you. You don't love me. What you love is your own infatuated fantasy of loving me. Chen Shubai let out a pained whimper. His voice grew hoarse as he murmured on the verge of emotional collapse. No, that's not how it is. 28, after that night. My world finally returned to perfect silence. No one came looking for me anymore. No one ever mentioned Chen Shubai to me again. On the day of my departure, Bai Wei came to see me off at the airport. With teary eyes, she said, "Who knows when we'll meet again after this farewell. If you ever want to see me, just come anytime, I'll cover your flight tickets." Bai Wei burst into laughter at my antics. She gazed at me, her eyes brimming with unspoken questions. I cautiously probed further. Bai Wei shook her head. "It's nothing, just feeling a bit sentimental." I instinctively looked up. This I didn't ask further, just waved at them, then headed towards the security checkpoint. Just before boarding, I received airport photos from Chuyang. "Honey, I'm here to pick you up, happy puppy." I couldn't help but chuckle. Later on, the news about Chen Shubai turned out to be his obituary. They said it was sudden cardiac death from pulling all-nighters in the lab. As for Xu Jingshu, without Chen Shubai in her life, she lost all motivation for academics. It all ended during an outing. She wandered dazed into traffic and was hit by a car, remaining comatose to this day. A friend sent me a message asking, "Peppermint, are you coming back for Chen Shubai's funeral?" No. That was the last time my name was ever connected with Chen Shubai's. Looking back across the miles, old friends are gone forever. The end.